grandmother, who's 91 years old, got the COVID, was completely symptom-free, but slightly annoyed that she didn't die.
Okay.
Her exact quote
It's
in
good.
a Scandinavian accent, "If this didn't kill me, what will?"
All right, we're good. We're good.
Fat lady! Valkyrie!
All righty then. It's time for your One, two,
Curry,
one,
John
two.
C. Dvorak.
1, 2, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Dum, 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 dum. It's your poo, snippity snap. Let me pin. I need to pin.
What?
I didn't pin my tweet. I feel so bad. Pin the tweet. Okay.
But you said you need to pee.
No, pin the tweet. Pin the
You
tweet.
don't need to pee?
No. I've been.
Might have been a
I've
Freudian slip.
on your in your mind. Well,
Oh, what?
are you ready?
No.
No. Okay.
I do want to beat the Zephyr. So,
You're really low. Are you just not talking in front of the mic?
I'm nowhere near the mic.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh.
Clear my... Ready?
Yeah.
You're supposed to... The joke is no.
Damn it. I'll try it again on Thursday.
Here we go. Hit it.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, September 20th, 2020. This is your award-winning Gibble Nation Media Assassination episode 1279.
This is No Agenda.
Freaking out over RBG and broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 near the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the drone, Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we advise caution when driving while listening to the show, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Oh, you got the same note I did?
Yeah, we got around the red light.
What exactly what were we talking about? And he heard something, and then instead of
about
hitting
Biden being taking some pills for discontinent, taking some dementia pills that caused him to poop his pants.
oh, it's always a winner, isn't it?
So the scatological aspect of it got this guy to crack up while driving. He hit the gas while
At a stop
instead of
sign.
the brakes at a red light.
But he was okay, luckily. Yes.
Yeah, he got through it.
Very, very dangerous show. Well, what's also dangerous is receiving the news that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died while you're in the car. That could also cause a lot of confusion.
Yeah, why don't we hold that for the kicker? I know what you're referring to.
Oh, okay. So you don't want me to play this clip? That's your...
I have it. Actually have part of a three-parter.
Oh, well, I just have the libtard in the car. And I said libtard. I hated that I did that.
You said that.
I did. I hate that I
you've
said
been
that.
bumped. You've been bumped.
I hate. Okay.
Been bumped.
All right. The clip.
I also sweetened it a little bit. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll leave that for later.
But Ginsburg did die. I do have the Deutsche Welle report, which I thought was a little more objective than what we got locally.
Well, let's just do it. You just go for it. I mean, this is top. Just like that, overnight, everything went away. Everything changed. All the things you were hearing, not everything, but it's like, whoa, stop. Now we have a whole new issue to worry about. I'm happy for Joe Rogan, by the way. His news was wiped off the radar in one fell swoop. No one has to think about it.
Talking about Joe Rogan is nothing compared to what's going on because of the craziness. Because they're going to ramrod through somebody if they can, and I think they can. They should be able to. I mean, they have the two Democrats posing as Republicans.
Republicans.
Republishers. Murkowski and Susan Collins.
Yeah.
Who both hate Trump for some reason, and I think they hate the party. Mm-hmm. But they're still the Republicans they're still 5 votes up, so they can ram somebody through. But let's listen to the report from Ginsburg report DW.
Okay. Now, just before we play that, It's my understanding that this is an interesting conundrum because of this stacking of the court idea. Is that in any of your clips? We can just talk about that quickly.
We can talk about it.
Yeah. So the idea is if the Democratic Party feels so, there's a new if a new Supreme Court justice is chosen before Trump's term is up, then they're going to do something which is called stacking the court. Which
has never been done.
Never been done, but it's been discussed, and they're very serious about it now. On the other hand, if Trump wins, then I think he's probably going to say, hey, that was a good idea, Democrats. Let's stack the court.
with more Republicans.
So,
well, there is a conundrum here, but I want to talk about it after we at least get the briefing out of the way. We're kind of we're burying the audience.
Moving. Yes, we are.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was appointed to the Supreme Court in 1993. The champion of women's rights became only the second female Supreme Court justice, and in her 27 years of service, she became seen as the unquestioned leader of the court's liberal wing. The Supreme Court announced Ginsburg's death in a statement, saying she died with her family at her side. President Trump was given the news after addressing a campaign rally in Minnesota.
She led an amazing life. What else can you say? She was an amazing woman, whether you agreed or not. She was an amazing woman who led an amazing life. I'm actually saddened to hear that. I am saddened to hear that. Thank you very much.
Trump's Democratic presidential challenger Joe Biden also paid tribute to Ginsburg, but said her successor should not be chosen until after the upcoming election.
But there is no doubt, let me be clear, that the voters should pick the president, and the president should pick the justice for the Senate to consider.
But a bitter Senate fight to fill Ginsburg's place on the Supreme Court seems sure. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said a vote on a Trump nominee would take place. With much of U.S. politics hamstrung by deep polarization, the makeup of the Supreme Court is crucial in shaping law on fundamental issues, such as abortion. But Justice Ginsburg had a critical view of the politicization of the nomination process. While there was praise for her legacy from across the political divide, the search for her successor threatens to be less dignified.
Mm-hmm. Less dignified. Thank you. Was that BBC? No, it was Democracy Now?
No, it was Deutsche Welle.
Oh, Deutsche Welle. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on here. I mean, first of all, let's get one thing straight. This woman was no superstar in the court. She was, I would call her, she was the queen of the dissenting opinion.
Right.
She mostly wrote dissenting opinions. The only thing she was well known for was getting equal pay for equal work. And she was a big promoter of that, and she wrote the opinion on these laws that went through, but all these laws went through 9-0. She either wrote an opinion on a 9-0 sweep of both sides, and she got to write those opinions, and she wrote a lot of dissenting opinions, and she's for partial birth abortion of all things. And she was, when that was slammed down, she wrote the dissenting opinion, and she was known as this great liberal, intellectual, I don't know what, or spokesperson for the liberal class.
She did get changes made at the Citadel, so I think she was pretty.
That was her big thing. That happened in '96, I believe, 3 years after she got in.
So women could go into that academy.
She was into.
I'm sorry, people who identify as women,
making sure that women got into all men's clubs. She was the big promoter of let's bust up the men's clubs. Oh, that's fabulous.
Hey, John, you sound a little snarky about RBG.
She wasn't that good. She was overrated, and everyone would make a big, well, listen to her. I got 2 sets of clips of people on the street praising her. One from Deutsche Welle. Where are these things? Public comments 1, and listen to the first person. There's 3 of them on this one. Listen to the first person. She goes on and on about how, making somebody that was decidedly mediocre into such a great hero has always bothered me.
Oh, I think she's really one of the greats of the Supreme Court. she'll be remembered as long as this country is in existence for what she's contributed.
I mean, she was wonderful and lived a long life, but to be selfish, we really needed her to make it past this election, and it just will drive more of a wedge into our politics likely between now and November. But I'm just crushed because she's an icon and trailblazer.
I just hope that President Trump, appoints somebody that is very competent with our Constitution.
Oh, yes.
And yet the other thing about it, they did make her an icon. If you go to any of the liberal tchotchke shops in the Berkeley area,
oh yeah,
there's these little Ruth Bader Ginsburg dolls.
Oh man, there's so much. I mean, that she popped big time with the notorious RBG label, and I'll just say, I feel that she was very important for women in general. To forget her stance or how good she was or not. She was important for the women's movement, for women getting places, for girls to look up to. She had a very impressive life. So I don't want to be all just, she sucked. She was no good.
I mean, you can have an opinion like that. I'm not going to argue with it.
That's why I'm throwing it in.
I just don't feel that way in the least. I think all for women, they're all, unanimous votes. Everybody was in on it. Sandra Day O'Connor didn't get as much attention as this woman did. And she was a real groundbreaker.
In fact, Sandra Day O'Connor let her have the Citadel case. That should have been Sandra Day O'Connor. No, was it the Citadel? No, it was Sandra Day O'Connor pushed RBG forward on a couple of occasions. Very graciously, I think.
Meanwhile, the actual liberals in the street have a kind of a different personal opinion. And this would be another public comment. This is somebody who's more along the lines of what you would have called whatever that term was you used earlier in the show. Well, let's just play. This is another public comment. This is clip 2.
Holy fucking shit, you guys! I'm driving in a car, but I just got a notification that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died! Fuck! Could this year get any fucking worse? Ruth, you just had to make it to 2021!
I thought you would do something different with that. I thought you would do something like this. Here, check it out.
2021!
As you know, everything goes better with goat.
Yeah, she sounded like a goat there.
It might be important to explain how
this could be a fake, by the way. No, we have no proof.
I agree with you. I looked at that and said that could totally be a fake. I had the same thought.
It's good, though.
It's fantastic. Let's explain just briefly for people who, actually, probably a lot of people in the United States don't know how important the Supreme Court is and why this is such a big deal. I think a lot of people are scratching their heads, in particular as it pertains to the election. So the election part is, I would say, kind of a callback to the 2000 election with Bush Jr. and Gore, where how many weeks was it? 3 weeks before we finally had a decision, and that had to go to the Supreme Court.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg
dissented.
Wrote the dissenting opinion.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's of the 29 times a Supreme Court justice has been up in the election in the last year of a first term or in a lame duck session is 29 times. And I believe 29 times a justice has been appointed. So it's not like this is some crazy thing that has never been done before. We went through this.
That's a good point. And the thing that everyone bitches about, and here's what the irony is, and I don't know why this hasn't been, the Democrats have not been called out on this. Mm. When Garland was nominated at the end of the Obama term and the Speaker or the Senate decided to not even to do hearings.
They just not to do a vote
shelved it. They said, nah, it's too, no, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
The Democrats moaned and groaned about this. This is the worst thing you could possibly do. This is unconstitutional. It's bad. It's bad for the country. They went and bitched and moaned and but now they want to do it. No more complaining.
Surprise.
This bugs me to no end.
Oh, well, it's not like this hypocrisy hasn't happened in many other places. So if we have the election that's contested, looks like that's what's going down. It's already been pre-announced. We'll have rioting in the streets. This is the entire strategy. It's a color revolution strategy. I don't think it'll work very well here, but they're going to try it. It could be the Supreme Court who decides, and having the unbalance of, well, at this point it's 5-3, but it could be 6-3, would pretty much mean, and that's how it's seen, that in a close race that would require a decision from the court, that it would go to the Republicans and to Trump. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but, I mean,
and that's your civics lesson, everybody. That's all you need to know.
That wasn't much of anything, but no. Let's go back to the packing the court thing and what they're and the kind of political thinking on both sides is very unique. It's because, well, should we put it off and make, because I'll give you a couple of these ideas because I follow all these guys. It goes, the Republicans and the Democrats both have mixed feelings. The Democrats don't have mixed feelings. The Republicans do. Because there are some Republicans are kind of convinced that, well, if we don't put somebody in right now,
right,
we only have 45 days to do it. It can be done, but it usually takes about 75 days according to the stats.
Yeah.
Well, we could do it. We could ram it through. But if we don't do it, that'll bring the Republicans out to vote because they're going to so want the Supreme Court decision.
A classic conundrum. They don't know what to do. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And the argument against that is no. Couple of things. One, the Republicans aren't so freaky about the judicial appointment to the Supreme Court because they already have a majority. They still will have one by one vote. And it won't drive people to the voting booths, but it might drive the Democrats to the voting booths, so it'll have the opposite effect.
Oh no, we have more problems. What can we do? And this is the third branch of the United States government. Everyone who thinks we have some kind of democracy, it's a republic, and we have the co-equal branches of government: legislature, the executive, and we have the judicial branch.
Yes. And so let me finish the thinking though. So the new thinking is, well, if we ram it through, that will disparage the Democrats will have nothing to go to the polls for. They'll be depressed and they won't go out to vote.
Oh no.
And they'll lose everything. So that's the way I'm thinking too. I think that way. I think I think that's the proper way to think. If you want to just dump on the Democrats, you want to ramrod something through. So they're going to be putting a lot of work in to get. And the question is, who's it going to be? I think
it's obvious. It has to be a young black woman or someone who identifies as a woman.
A young black woman. It's going to be a young black woman. I'm sorry. It's going to be a young woman that is the same color as the old one. They're doing replacement therapy here.
Oh, I see. Okay. Replacement therapy.
Yeah.
That's bad.
So they're going to put a woman in, probably, I'm thinking it's Amy Coney Barrett, who is the one that everybody wanted some time ago. She was the most conservative and the youngest. They're going to put somebody in very young so that she can stay in there for a long time. But the problem is always going to be people change, they change when they get this job, and they can be a conservative for 1 minute and then become a raving liberal the next.
Yeah.
Once they're in that position. So you never know for sure, but they don't want to they don't want Biden picking someone.
I don't think Biden's picking his lunch menu. The guy's doing. Oh, did you hear Trump had some new material?
No, I missed two things I didn't get because as I did my clips. One, I didn't get any Biden clips, and I know Trump did 3 speeches,
Oh yeah, he
and
was
I
on
didn't
fire.
catch any of them.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm
Well, this would be my favorite.
What a voice. Have you ever tried opera? What a voice that everybody has. That's true. I wouldn't say it. She said, he has no idea where he is, but I would never say it. I won't say it. I refuse to say it. No, but don't underestimate him. Look, he's been doing this for 47 years. And I got a debate coming up with this guy. No, it's true. You never know. You never know. They give him a big fat shot in the ass and he comes out. And for 2 hours, he's better than ever before. You know. The problem is what happens after that. Nah, we're going to ask for a drug test. We are. I'd like to have a drug test. Both of us. I'll take it. He'll take it.
Oh, shot in the big fat shot in the ass. I love that. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you.
Wow.
Hillary Clinton needed to get in on that RBG action. And this, I think, was on Rachel Maddow.
After the nomination to the Supreme Court from President Clinton, we just heard from former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton that she put a bug in her husband's ear about the prospects for a Justice Ginsburg when he was considering nominees that year.
What a horrible woman. Oh, yeah.
That she is, yes. That we agree on 100%.
Oh, man. Bill didn't really I put the bug in his ear. It's really all me. You know, me. I'm the Uber woman. Her.
She's the one, yeah.
She's the one. All right.
Wow.
We'll just...
And, of course, Rachel would parrot that.
Of course. So we'll just stick with Biden and Harris. I'm sorry, Harris and Biden for a moment to take us into a bit of COVID action with the supercut of their mask opinion and stance.
We'll have a national mandate to wear masks. I cannot mandate people wearing masks.
The need for this mandatory mask wearing will also be about what Joe has articulated.
How would you enforce that?
It's really it's a standard. I mean, nobody's going to be punished. Come on. Nobody likes to wear a mask.
You can force them to wear masks.
This isn't about freedom. It's about freedom for your neighbors. The Constitution lists whether the federal government could issue such a mandate. I don't think constitutionally they could.
Put in place a nationwide mask mandate.
Would it be a federal mandate under the Biden-Harris administration?
It would be a standard.
A question whether I can mandate over state lines that every single state has to comply. Our legal team thinks I can do that based upon the degree to which there's a crisis in those states. There's a question whether or not a president under the Constitution could mandate everyone wear a mask.
At least Trump is consistent most of the time. These guys are all over the map.
God.
Yes, really is quite bizarre. Very strange.
A little late in the game for all this stuff, as far as I'm concerned.
So after we analyzed and discovered that Harris County, Houston, had made big mistakes in displaying their positive cases data, which is not the same as people dying or people on ventilators. Don't hear those stats anymore. So, those cases were hugely inflated, and we had a second shutdown of the bars and restrictions on restaurants in Texas. Now that this information is public, I would love to see an apology so we don't make these mistakes ever again. Should this come up again? That hasn't happened. No, instead, our fine Governor Abbott has doubled down.
Governor Greg Abbott says this pandemic isn't going away, so Texans still need to take...
He didn't actually say that, but I do like the way they cover it.
...precautions to limit the spread.
The fact is, COVID does still exist, and most Texans remain susceptible.
Isn't that a whipsaw? That's a good whipsaw right there. He said it's not going away, and then he didn't say that. That's a whipsaw, right?
Yeah, it's totally a whipsaw.
All right.
The fact is, COVID does still exist, and most Texans remain susceptible.
The governor also announced businesses like restaurants, stores, and gyms will be able to expand operations soon. While it's good news for restaurants, opening bars is still a no-go in Texas. KD's Luis De Leon joins us live in Austin tonight with what bar owners are thinking about that.
Yeah, Quita, the Texas Bar and Nightlife Alliance said in a statement today that they called the governor's announcement unacceptable. Now, while this announcement did not exactly help bars, restaurant owners I spoke to today say they're excited for the future. Now, as for the Texas Texas Bar and Nightlife Alliance, they continued saying in their statement today that they feel it's ridiculous a bar that serves food can now open at 75% capacity when a bar that doesn't serve food can't open at all.
Luis, what has the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission said about this decision?
Well, Brian, for some time now, bars around Austin and throughout Texas have been able to apply for a restaurant certificate through the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, but that means they would technically have to reopen and operate as a restaurant, which some bars here in Austin already have been doing. We confirmed today that they will be having to follow those restaurant guidelines. That includes that new 75% capacity rule.
So for some reason, the bars are seen as the super spreader places.
But bar restaurants aren't.
Correct. And so what some of the smart
people... Would you
people...
like some wings? Would you like a wings with your double scotch?
It's even better. No, so in the report you heard that several bars have applied for a bar restaurant. What they do is they do a deal with a food truck. Food truck rolls up, boom, done. Instant kitchen. Yeah, they're really. I love that. It's like, screw you.
We have that. Actually, that's not a new idea. We have a little bar on San Pablo Avenue there.
Sorry. I don't know what happened.
that was bad. That had this little parking lot, and they wisely. This is like 5 or 6 years ago. They put a taco truck in there that drives in every day, and then people say you can go into the bar with the taco and have a beer.
Yeah.
And it's been a very popular event.
I think I'll have a beer. Honey, you want a beer? Sorry, that's my Elizabeth Warren. I think I'll have a beer. Okay, more bogus news as it all unravels. Just fun for us here. No agenda, because no one really cares anymore. It's all forgotten. We don't even remember we had conventions 2 weeks ago.
Was that what those were?
Yeah, I don't remember that. You remember the baby in Michigan? 2-month-old baby dies from COVID-19. Oh my God, it's so scary. Lockdown!
Oh yeah, babies are dying.
Yeah, baby died from COVID-19, 2 months old. Horrible. Yeah, that was bullshit.
The baby boy from the Upper Peninsula was born with a condition called gastroschisis, where the intestines actually form on the outside of the baby's body. Days before the baby died, he tested positive for COVID-19, and hospital staff said that contributed to his passing. Chief Medical Executive Dr. Janae Caldoun mentioned a 2-month-old had died from COVID-19 at the governor's last press event.
I was so saddened to hear this week of a 2-month-old baby in Michigan who died because of COVID-19.
Quickly afterwards, the boy's mother went on Facebook and made a post that has since been deleted, saying she was very angry with the state for counting her son as a COVID-19 death when she says her son died from that birth defect. We asked the state to comment on the case. A spokesperson said, quote, "We remain unable to provide any additional details about the 2-month-old who was mentioned at the press conference. And that includes being unable to confirm or deny that any specific baby is the baby that was referenced." That statement went on to say it relies on the judgment of treating physicians in determining whether a death is associated with COVID-19. Now, if all that seems confusing, that's because it sure is. The Detroit Free Press is reporting the first line of the autopsy report says the baby's cause of death was COVID-19, but that report goes on to say the birth defect played a major role in the baby's death. Again, just highlighting how difficult it can be to classify deaths from COVID-19.
Bull crap. It's so difficult to classify it. No, it's not. It's not.
I think you brought this up already, but wasn't it the CDC? Who was it that said that maybe only 10%?
Yeah.
Or 6%.
6%.
Yeah, the famous 6% of all COVID-19 deaths are actually from COVID-19.
Yeah, if you actually say that anywhere in public, like on your radio show, you'll get fired. You can't say that. And this lady's...
It's right from the government documents.
Yeah. This lady's Facebook post was taken down. I remember the whole story.
She's the one with the dead baby.
Yeah.
What kind of bunch of cruel pricks are out there?
Well... that's exactly right. They're a bunch of cruel pricks. So true. Now listen to what they're doing. These nursing homes. We got.
There's the real scandal.
Yeah. Note from one of our producers, Anonymous. I operate skilled nursing facilities in the Midwest and have reached my breaking point. There's so much information that I don't know where to begin. And this is really something you should read in it's in the show notes under, I think it's under Let Us Out, nursing home bullcrap, boots on the ground. So the first, Becton Dixon and Company, the first to supply mass quantity of point-of-care antigen test machines to nursing facilities throughout the county, which was from a $24 million investment by the federal government. The test kits are $35 a kit and ordered in batches of 30 kits. Facilities cannot order supplies of kits until mid-October, so no ordering for you. The machines for this have shown shocking all-caps numbers of false positives. The link below. Okay, so that's just how bad these tests really are. And here's our friends Abbott to the rescue, who are rolling out the point-of-care antigen test. Abbott Binax Now COVID antigen card, exactly what we heard from our dude named Ben who works inside Abbott Labs. They're going to give you an app. All these old people will get an app so they can show whether your little QR code, green or red, if you're good to go or you should be locked up and the key thrown away. It is a huge scandal the way these facilities are being treated. If someone tests positive, it's one person is immediately called an outbreak, lockdown occurs. The whole facility has to be tested for 2 weeks without a single positive case before they can even allow anyone else to come in again. Bottom line, they're paying $40,000 a week for just one facility to meet the COVID testing requirement, and they have no relief for this. And everybody is suffering. And it seems like, I don't understand how we still haven't learned that we're not doing this right. And no one's doing it right. Most of the deaths everywhere, still old people. As Europe now goes into a second wave. Can you believe it? They're being tricked into a second wave. And yeah.
I can't believe it.
And the new UK law, £10,000 fine if you're a COVID-19 rule breaker. £10,000. This was at $13,000.
Yeah, it's about $13,000. $13,500.
How do they get away with that?
They just do. They don't have guns. I think let's go back to your original thesis.
It is the guns thing, isn't it?
It must be.
On the vaccine front, it looks like Moderna, surprise, surprise, the mRNA vaccine that we have no idea how it works really or if it's going to work. It's never been done before. But yeah, they look like they're ready and they're almost set with their phase 3 trial results, and they will seek limited emergency use of COVID-19 vaccine based on early data. So it looks like they're going to be out of the gate surprised that they would win. I can't believe it. I can't believe that they would win. Who knew? It's not like everyone's in bed with them. Ay. And you remember the French?
This is becoming the comedy hour, the COVID comedy hour.
COVID comedy.
The COVID comedy hour.
Hey, everybody, it's Adam and John with the COVID comedy hour. Gilead, who, of course, had an early battle against the ultra-cheap and extremely safe and apparently effective hydroxychloroquine in combo with the Z-Pack and with some zinc or some other stuff like that. So the guy who had the first study that claimed to be curing his patients, I think 80 patients at the time, was Dr. Didier Raoult. He was the French guy, and he published about it first, and then he immediately, well, he's not dead, but you would have thought he would be dead because we didn't hear much about it. And he's now out doing interviews saying, I got death threats from people at Gilead. Death threats. Because Gilead had remdesivir, which is the $2,000 per dose. Is it $3,000? Something like that.
I believe so, yeah.
Before title, taxes, etc. So these guys are cutthroat. They do not. I say it without evidence other than his own statement, but Jesus, cutthroat. Those people. They really are. They're nuts.
Well, there's a lot of money involved here. People don't realize. People get robbed and killed for like $20.
Yeah. So the trolls are out. I don't know if you've noticed it. I get a lot of 3-follower people all of a sudden who are showing up in my timeline saying something like, "Hey, you suck, asshole!" That kind of stuff. I don't know if you ever see those. And it's like Dave 1372.
Wow. Sounds just like the guy.
Yeah. And
best voice you've ever done.
Thank you. And it's it's clearly a troll or so. I mean, it's not even a troll.
Report him as usual.
No, I just block. No, I don't report.
Oh man, you got to report him.
I don't care. Normally, I don't do anything. But
I don't even I'm not even on Twitter anymore. I go on there to get my DMs. If somebody DMs me,
you got to see how the ladies are. Check your DMs. See if anyone slid into your DMs. Slid into your DMs.
Then I look at the the normal stuff. I rarely and I post all the links to this show.
Yeah,
and stuff. That's about it. And by the way, my numbers have been steadily creeping up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're not.
I went from 101.1 follower.
Yeah,
and that was going down. I was going to break. I was going to go down to 100. I was going to crack down to 99. I was going to be screwed. So I took my new policy of not posting anything but promotions for the show. It's been creeping up. I'm now up to 101.3.
I think we can analyze this as saying that people just didn't like what you posted before. They would leave you. Not Dvorak again. Unfollow. So I think one of these, now it may be a troll, but I'm thinking it's more like a disinfo agent. And why would we not be a part of the disinformation of people trying to get, we're a great target for disinformation. It's like show up, say something, give me a link.
Yeah, and we've fallen for a couple of over 10 or 12 years, we've fallen for 2 or 3. I think the most recent one was me. I fell for some dumb thing from, I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago, and you said, well, hey, you're talking about something that was posted 5 years ago.
Yeah, that always sucks. Here's one that is, I like. It's sophisticated because it reveals it's a scam in the content itself. I think that's a good one. That's almost like a, April Fool's type of thing. It's about 5G, so forget about the validity of what this guy is. It's just a minute. Forget about the validity of what this guy is saying. He's a YouTuber, COVID-1984. It's produced. This is kind of wacky guy. He looks all, spacey, and he's going to tell us why 5G is so incredibly dangerous. And, he's relating it to COVID-19 in this video. But in this little clip, and I was sent the time code to this, see if you can spot the obvious. Besides what he's claiming, can you spot where they reveal that it's fake?
We've known for a long time that the human brain is essentially an electrical beast, but we've proved scientifically that in fact the entire brain and body, everything that makes us, runs on very specific and varied electrical frequencies called frequency-activated radiating concept energies. By pushing different wireless frequencies, we can incite change in different areas, or chakras, if you will. But we have to be careful with this knowledge. We did an experiment on hamsters. We increased manipulation at 553 Hertz, which we believed would increase motivation. It did, and the hamster ran for 8 hours straight. Sadly, the hamster's legs eventually fell off. This is why 5G is dangerous. It interferes with the natural balance in an incredibly forceful way.
So you rang the bell at the 2 spots which is not it. That's not it.
It's not that legs fell off?
No, but hey, this video is produced in a manner that you could say, well, yeah, it's like, it's possible the hamster's legs face looks professional.
Fell off. Now, first of all, I may have not been able to catch it because I will say that this is one of the muddiest clips you've ever played.
Yeah, well, I can't help that, obviously. It's what it is. But it's in this.
And in fact, the entire brain and body.
So he's talking about the brain.
Everything that makes us, runs on very specific and varied electrical frequencies called frequency-activated radiating concept energies.
Frequency-activated radiating concept energies.
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I still can barely hear him say that.
All right, but I'm just going to say it again. Frequency-activated radiating concept energies.
Farce.
Farce. It's a farce.
Yeah, that's good. That's a way. That's a good practical joke. That is how you do an April Fool's gag.
Right. But this could be someone just trying to poison the well. I don't know. For sure, word on the street around the globe is that China, of course, when I say word on the street, it's the Epoch Times, who hate the Chinese Communist Party. They unveil, with Australia's help, that China has a database of people and they target them.
Meanwhile, it's been revealed that the Chinese regime has a database of around 2.4 million people and 650,000 institutions that heavily targets influential people overseas. Now, Financial Review reported that a Chinese military contractor was boasting about spreading disinformation and promoting conflicts, again, using this network. It allegedly includes profiles on politicians, academics, technology workers, family members of targeted people, and even information on individuals involved in organized crime. And the data is being used by multiple branches of the CCP for targeting people in foreign countries for various interests, including politicians, including business leaders, and others of influence. Now, the news has caused a stir, particularly in Australia and Canada, since the database includes information on politicians and key influencers in both countries. Canada's Globe and Mail reports that, quote, its files seem to have been cobbled together from various sources. Some catalog news stories, including hundreds of Globe articles, while others are archived Facebook posts from U.S. President Donald Trump about trade tariffs. A large portion of the data appears to have been extracted from the business information website Crunchbase and serves as a Rolodex of social media accounts and contact information for people in all sorts of occupations, from tech executives to university professors.
I'm sure we're both in that TechCrunch database, so why wouldn't some Chinese disinfo shill show up and try to do something, try to give, or someone who hates China? It could be Epoch Times for all I know. Or Miles Guo.
This is standard operating procedure for large corporations, governments. Who cares? This is nonsense. Oh, God, they took the Crunchbase and they downloaded it, and now they've got dossiers on everybody.
No, but that's not the story. That's not the story. The story to me is they know who had okay, here are people who have some influence in certain arenas. Let's go create bots and give them little stories. That's the story here. No, I don't give a shit about the dossier. Yeah, but I think
but that's what you do.
So I started this off by saying, I think that's happening to me for sure. I think that some of these, it's not just trolls who are showing up and doing this. They're sending me little links and things. And
this has been going on with me for at least 2 or 3 years from one or two guys. I think it's always the same guy. This is the same guy who used to be at Reddit. And he gets an account and he opens up and he gets 2 followers and he starts sending me weird stuff. And I report him. I said, this is this, and I always say the same thing.
Oh, I know who that is, yeah.
And this is the guy who got on our case because of Seth Rich.
Yeah, I know who it is.
And he just keeps coming at us, and I just keep reporting him, and it goes away, and he has to redo it. I figure,
what does he want?
I can outlast him.
What does he want?
He wants us to do what we did, which is rebuke the Seth Rich theory, because there's no real evidence and nobody seems to be able to come up with it, so it's easy enough to rebuke. But he's kept old screenshots that have been taken down from my site, and he kept a screenshot and he keeps reposting it, where I said, well, the No Agenda Show believes that Seth Rich is behind it all. and
Roger Stone.
And he posted over and over, and I keep reporting him, and they kill him. And he starts over again with another name with 3 followers, and he follows the same people, and he's
but that's not a disinfo agent. That's just a dick. It's not a disinfo agent.
Yes, that's what I said. I don't think there's that many disinfo agents.
I think I'm seeing them now. Hey, I've been on Joe Rogan twice. This is good, man. We go hang out.
Well, yeah, that could happen. Yeah. You've been on Joe Rogan twice. You could be a target. Because I think there probably is a large contingent that hates Joe Rogan ever since he came out and said he wasn't going to vote for Biden.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
Yeah,
everything turned against Joe Rogan once he said, "Well, I think I'm going to vote for anybody but Biden." The guy's a mental case. I heard that was about 6 months ago.
Well, not everybody. No, that's just not true. His audience. Look at the people who are listening to us who are listening to Joe Rogan.
No, I'm not going to argue that he doesn't have a huge following of normal people. It's just that the small group is the same things that caused the Portland fires and the burning of the buildings. It's a very small group that's in Antifa. It's a very small group that's in RAM. And they brag about the fact it doesn't take a lot of people to cause a big stir.
Right. Well.
And so it's a very small group of people, and they go after people like Rogan, they can't do much with us because we're just producer supported.
What I think is
what's the point?
What I thought was kind of interesting is that it took a guy from Finland, what's his name, Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, to finally tell an activist group of noodle boys and girls inside his own company, no, we're not taking this episode down. Just no. I hear they want to strike. They want to actually walk out.
Well, apparently Red Bull has had the same situation. And Red Bull, I think, is controlled it's a European company. And they fired the American CEO and his assistant, the associates. I don't know what she was, the COO or something. They got rid of both of them because there were two social justice warriors that got into the company, worked their way to the top of the American division.
Yeah.
And they just got fired unceremoniously.
Yeah.
They wanted to put Black Lives Matter on the can.
Meanwhile, on Spotify, I should have clipped it, but just because it came up the other day, Michelle Obama's podcast, she claims that, she said, it's pretty much illegal to be black in America. If you're on the street, it's illegal to be black. She said that like that. It's illegal to be black.
And you didn't clip it?
No, wow. I know. But there's a lot going on. A lot happening today. Anyway, so whether I'm being targeted by Chinese disinfo or not, there's a lot of things that they're doing. Actually, today, I believe WeChat and any other company that sends, I guess won't be able to send any traffic to no app can send traffic to China. TikTok gets a delay until I think, let me see what their delay is. TikTok has a delay until sometime October or November 12th. But for now, these are restrictions targeting WeChat, which is kind of their Venmo. And there's a lot more than that, but it's definitely important for money.
It's very important to the Chinese economy.
Yeah. Beginning Sunday, it will be illegal to host or transfer internet traffic associated with WeChat.
Yeah.
The same will be true for TikTok as of November 12th.
After the election.
Of course. But I think that there's a couple other companies that if they're not in trouble today, they're going to have issues down the road because the Chinese, Reddit, just Reddit. 300 million was the last round, I think, from some Chinese investors.
Yeah, I think it was the same. I can't remember their name, but yeah, they got a bunch of Chinese money.
Then Huawei Canada has. You guys are so. You got to do something about your leadership up there, okay? Canada has drawn up a no backdoor, no spying legal pledge in a bid to prevent the 5G ban. They're being kicked out everywhere. Well, we promise we won't do any backdoors. And then in Mexico, in it's Puerto Veracruz. I did not know it, but this is a port that now belongs to China. And by coincidence, we have a nice rail connection between the United States and the port.
This huge open lot near the port of Veracruz may not seem like much now, but it will soon be the location of one of the most important infrastructure projects in Mexico. This is part of the expansion of the port of Veracruz, and China Communications Construction Company is employing hundreds of Mexican and Chinese workers to build what will be the new terminal for the container company, Hutchinson Ports ICAVE.
Yeah, notice there's a communications company in there. Of course, always have little communications. So I wonder if they're trying to backdoor us in that way. And there's a couple other ports that are coming up. I think Rotterdam may be on deck next. They may get some Chinese quote-unquote help. It's crazy because they just wind up owning it all.
Yeah, you can nationalize them. You can kick them out.
Yeah, guess.
It's the Western Hemisphere way.
I wanted to just bring up a quick there were a couple things that we've talked about on the last show. Actually, first, the rain stick, right on time. I'm glad that we did the way we did it, John. We were restrained with our rain stick. We did rain stick specifically for Portland for the fires. As you heard on the last show, we had huge thunderstorms and rain here in Austin. It always happens a couple days later. Within 3 to 5 days, the rain shows up. And I got, here we go, Mariella, I can confirm, rain stick successful in Oregon. First clean air and view of landscape in 2 weeks here tonight after a series of rainstorms. And I actually got Mark sent us a rain stick. Abort! We now have flash flood warnings here in Portland. It's never good for you people. Can you shake the stick in reverse? No. And these are the same people like, shake it again. We are, luckily, we're responsible rain stick operators. Can you imagine if we had done that, if we had done another shake of that?
Oh, no, it would have been a disaster.
Armageddon. RBG, we mourn, of course, some of us. But a real, true friend of the show, not that he knew about us, but friend of the show, passed away yesterday as well. And I am very, very sad. And I guess you didn't hear about it.
No.
Our professor, Cohen.
Stephen Cohen?
Yeah, Stephen Cohen passed away yesterday.
Wow.
I know. That's exactly how I reacted. Like, oh, now I know what everyone feels like with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I have that feeling for Stephen Cohen. The guy was great.
He was the Russia go-to guy. Yeah. He actually told it like it was.
Yeah. Yeah, so he passed away.
What did he die of? How old was he?
Hold on.
Details, man.
Yes, I have it here somewhere, man. I've lost it for a moment. I believe he was 81, and I think it was lung cancer. Here we go.
Yeah. He sounded like a smoker.
We got... New York Times did an obit for him. He chronicled Stalin's tyrannies and the collapse of the Soviet Union. He was an enthusiastic admirer of Mikhail Gorbachev. Let me see if he says he was 81. Yeah, wife Katrina von der Heuvel, publisher, part owner of The Nation, said the cause was lung cancer. Sucks. Yeah, and that can go fast.
He sounded like, not you mentioned, he sounded when he spoke, he sounded like a smoker.
He had a rattle.
And when you listen to him, you almost imagined him with a cigarette in his right hand, holding it in his hand as he spoke.
And that kind of made him cool too, though. You know, so go to Bingit.io or No Agenda, or search that No Agenda Notes or No Agenda Quests, No Agenda Query, and just put in Stephen Cohen, and you'll get a bunch of clips and read some of the stuff he wrote.
He was also one of the many from the left.
Mm-hmm.
Who was blackballed from discussing anything pretty much of recent.
Yes.
I would include the McGovern guy, Ray McGovern, the CIA guy. He's been blackballed, can't get on. He used to be a regular on Democracy Now! She won't have him on.
No, of course not. No.
Stephen Cohen used to be a regular on Democracy Now! She won't have him on.
Amy killed him.
Well, and probably in some way she did.
Thanks for backing me up. And then something that we got a lot of comments on, and I want to push back a little bit. This was the Million Mile camera. The Million Mile camera, which was which we picked up from Joe Biden. You railed on him for that. Let me actually see. Do we have that clip? Was it a long clip? His Million Mile?
Pretty short. It's a super short clip.
Yeah, here we go.
Health officials are reminding Americans to remain vigilant.
Nope, that's not it.
That's not it.
What would the what would it be called?
Let me see if I can find the clip list from last show.
I can probably bring it up. Let me see if I can find it here.
Oh,
I should have thought about it.
The Whopper. It's the Whopper.
Oh, is that the Whopper? Okay, hold on. I got the Whopper here. Yeah, here it is.
Fires are blazing so brightly, smoke reaching so far, NASA satellites can see them 1 million miles away in space.
Okay. So, of course, we were laughing. We're like, how far are these satellites? This can't be true. This is all bullcrap. And then I got inundated with links and emails and pictures. And look, here it is. It's the epic solar eclipse view captured from 1 million miles away. Curry, Dvorak, you're full of crap.
Are we full? Hold on a second.
Wow, when John says hold on, we really got to hold on. What happened? He blew himself out. You blew yourself out, man. Stopping tape. Yeah, he got too excited. I'm going to have to kill him. Come back, man. Podcaster down. Come on, man. There we go. He's coming back. Come back, my love. Don't go away. I need your loving every day. I love you so, and I want you to know I need your love so badly. Come on. Yes, that is interesting. Hold on a sec. What was the last thing Jesus said on the cross? Gosh, man, you are horrible. Damn trolls.
I guess I yelled too much.
you know the rules. It's like you play by the rules, otherwise
I gotta drop back further from the mic. I had a nice rant.
Can't you just lower your gain into the system?
Well, when I'm starting to go crazy, I can't go reach around for the button. let me adjust my gain.
It's a JCD crazy gain reach around, everybody. All right, I'm starting to back up. I want you to get back into your rant. That was good. You would hold on a second. You said.
Yeah. Hold on a second. I'm going to quote from what Biden said specifically. Okay. I remember it. You can play it again if you have to, but he said the following. Quote, NASA satellites, plural, NASA satellites at 1 million miles away. Okay, hotshot. Tell me what's the name of these NASA satellites that are out there 1 million miles away. I'm not talking about some shot to Mars that turns around and looks at Earth. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking NASA satellites. What's their names? What are they? Well, I didn't know about any NASA satellites that are floating around 1 million miles out there. Give me a break.
Yeah, there's one. It's the Epic. There is one that is 1 million miles out. And now my issue is not with that. This thing has been gone a long time. It's the Epic camera system. But and there are pictures from it. So it's like, here's the picture. And you see a beautiful globe, beautiful Earth. And then if you zoom in, you can see here's where the smoke is. Here's my problem. And because I know that none of the actual NASA photos of the Earth are actually real photos. They're all composite. They're put together. There's never been, as far as I know, one single picture taken from space. So you have this Epic camera system, which stands for Earth Polychromatic Imaging Camera. And this is when I knew, okay, this is not a picture of Earth. What this is a highly sensitive infrared sensor that tracks, I think, 10 different infrared frequencies, sends that data back, and then algorithms that know what clouds look like and how...
you have to use that.
So it's not it's not a photo. It's not a photo. Let's just stop. It's not a photographic image.
I would argue, if you're going to go that way, I would argue the following. Your iPhone photo is not a photo either.
So?
Talk about a manipulated image.
Yeah, but...
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, but... Okay. No, my point is, I just want everyone to know that's not a photo. That's a rendering. It's like a wire. They send a wireframe back, and then everything is rendered. The colors, the greens, the blues is all just made up. It's just made up by an algorithm. It's not an actual picture. Could it be something like that? Yeah, maybe. But just stop already. So no, there's no camera 1 million miles away that takes pictures of the Earth. That's my problem.
By the way, it's plural.
Well, you're hung up on that, but who cares? I mean,
I do.
It's Joe Biden. What do you expect, man?
Well, you got me there.
Yeah. He's no good. All right. Where was I on this? Yes.
I'll look into this Epic.
Okay. So now we have the Build Back Better Green New Deal. We have to start making the transition from COVID-19.
Yeah, this is tough.
No, well, they're doing a lot of work, and I have two clips. This first one is from the Globalist. I think it's the Global. what is this? Some Indian guy, but it's a United Nations project. I actually have it here. What'd you say?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a United Nations type guy. Let me see and he's put together a little clip which explains exactly how we're going to get from COVID-19 to achieving our global goals, because, well, you'll hear exactly what the pandemic really is to the globalist out there.
Whatever it is, coronavirus has made the mighty kneel and brought the world to a halt, like nothing else could. Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for a return to normality, trying to stitch our future to our past and refusing to acknowledge the rupture. But the rupture exists. And in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us the chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Nothing could be worse than a return to normality. Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred.
What? It's almost over.
What's wrong with these people?
Our dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us.
Oh, God.
Or we can walk through lightly, with little luggage, ready to imagine another world. And ready to fight for it.
Yes. Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to fight for it? The pandemic is a portal to a new world, I tell you. If you want to learn all about this groovy thing, you can find it at globalgoals.org. And it's part of the Nations United film. Nations United is a special, first-of-its-kind film created by the United Nations to mark 5 years since...
Get rid of this organization.
Listen to this. So here are the 17 goals. These are the global goals. This right here. It's this is your new world order.
Right from the document. People are always flabbergasted by the facts.
You ready for the goals? The 17 goals?
Yep.
1, no poverty. 2.
Oh, no problem. No poverty, no problem.
Number 2, 0 hunger.
Done.
Which oddly, they have a steaming coffee cup as the logo for 0 hunger. Or maybe it's a bowl of ramen. Maybe it's a bowl of ramen.
Yes, it's full of ramen.
Number 3, good health and well-being. And they have a little chart, like a heart cardiogram.
Yeah.
Quality education, which we don't do on computers. Global goals. It's still a book and a pencil.
Oh, good.
Gender equality, of course. Surprised that's number 5.
75 genders.
That's right. Clean water and sanitation. Affordable and clean energy. Decent work and economic growth. Decent work. Industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Sustainable cities and communities.
This is just checklist, no problem.
Reduced inequalities. Responsible consumption and production. Climate action. Life below water. And there's a little fish underneath some rippled water, so we're very concerned with that. Life on land. You see a fence and a tree and some birds. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. And 17, partnerships for the goals. And, this is...
well, I've got some clips for you.
Yeah, well, let me add this to it. As the BBC is all on board, of course, and we need to talk about how climate change is taking place, and it's killing the world. We heard about Siberia. The Arctic is on fire. It turns out it's Siberia. The Arctic is on fire. Now, what did we hear over and over again when the Amazon was on fire? You pointed it out.
I probably did point it out, but I don't remember what it was.
Let me see if I have one of your clips. I may have one. It was lungs of the world. The Amazon is the lungs of the world. The lungs of the world. We were laughing about that. Amazon is
it was debunked by actual scientists. It's not the lungs of the world by any means.
Well, luckily the BBC went to the Arctic Circle and came back with this report.
Unprecedented wildfires have been burning along the Arctic Circle for months now, releasing record amounts of greenhouse gases. Scientists say the fires across Siberia, fueled by abnormally high temperatures, are contributing to global warming. Our Moscow correspondent Steve Rosenberg travelled to the remote Yakutia region in northeastern Russia to gauge the effects of climate change both on local communities and on the planet.
In Siberia, they call their forests the lungs of the planet.
No, hello. You can't have lungs there and in the Amazon. No,
double lungs.
You can't. Meanwhile, Stephen Cohen dies of lung cancer. We got nothing but lungs of the world everywhere.
It's the lung show.
It's the lung show.
And on the planet.
In Siberia, they call their forests the lungs of the planet. If that's true, our planet's in big trouble. We were given a bird's eye view of a climate emergency. From the air, Siberia's forest fires look like Armageddon. A heat wave has been fueling them, and they're releasing record amounts of carbon. And because of the vastness of Siberia, fighting them is incredibly difficult. This region alone, Yakutia, is 13 times the size of Britain.
What's happening here in Siberia has consequences for the whole world. Scientists believe that these forest fires are producing huge amounts of greenhouse gases that are changing the climate of the planet.
So he goes from producing a lot of carbon.
A bunch of melodramatic jerk-offs.
Do you notice how he throws in the carbon, which is not the same as carbon dioxide, but releasing a lot of carbon? And then scientists believe dangerous greenhouse gases are released with a fire, with a forest fire.
Probably mostly carbon dioxide, maybe some methane, and some terpenes, I'm sure. These chemicals that are from burning pines and things like that. I don't know.
Well, it's a perpetual motion machine now. So you get the fires, creates more CO2. CO2 creates hotter temperatures, record temperatures all time of the planet, of the Earth, and the lungs, according to Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
And they just get more fire. So there's no way out of it. We're all going to die. Okay. And then to finalize the little bit of COVID, Green New Deal stuff, everything I have here, is a study that claims the COVID-19 lockdown, I'm getting this from Discover magazine, the COVID-19 lockdown has affected people's brain structure. Now, the work is in preprint, meaning it hasn't been peer-reviewed.
That's true.
To be clear, the study's not saying the actual infection has an effect on the brain, but what do you think? Tom Solomon and colleagues who researched this scanned 50 healthy volunteers in Israel. All of them were given an MRI scan between May and July of 2020, which was after the end of the original lockdown period in Israel. Crucially, all of the same volunteers had also been scanned before COVID-19 started, mostly in 2019. This is part of a different study. By comparing the before and after lockdown MRI scans of the same people, researchers have found increases in the volume of the amygdala. Hey now, we are providing a health benefit and service here. We shrink. Yeah, but it's good to know. We shrink your amygdala, and although you may have enlarged somewhat, I think this show has certainly been able to help a lot of very negative health effects.
I'm going to go back to your other clip. The UN clips and the 17, whatever the hell they were. There's a big scandal going on in Washington State over the education.
Oh, we lost him. Hello? That was weird. Hello? Let's get him back. And he doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it. That's the worst part. We need some kind of thing so I can tell him. He's just telling his story. He may not know it until he asks for the clip. No, it's only the second time today. Oh, man, come on. See, I can't. He needs to get his ham rig up. Ugh. Well, I sent him a text, but it's probably going to the phone that's in his drawer.
It said you hung up.
Well, I'm sure it's just something in the system, not blaming you.
Well,
but
it was not the normal message. I know in my message, with my message.
But you know what we need? We need some kind of system where I can let you know, because you're probably still talking. You don't know until you wait.
I'm yakking away.
I fucking hate
by
that.
the way,
I'm sorry
I have to say this.
That. Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
It was really good.
I had two of the funniest lines I probably have ever delivered in my life.
Okay, you can do it again, man. You can do it, John. You can do it. So you're going to say, you're going to go back to the clip. Just start it, and you could do it all over again.
So there's a big controversy going on in Washington State amongst the educators. And there's a lot of articles about it. And it revolves around the curriculum, which isn't teaching reading and writing, and especially in the first and second grades and kindergarten. And it turns out there's one book that keeps cropping up in the discussion, which has got everybody bent out of shape, called A is for Activist.
Wait, isn't this an old book? Haven't we seen this book?
Yeah, we ridiculed this book, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back into play.
Oh, no.
And to make it more interesting, the front man for Rage Against the Machine, I can't remember his name, he introduces himself in this clip, is reading it now, and he's a big fan of this book, and he reads it to his kids all the time.
Really?
And I have 3 clips. I don't have all the letters of the alphabet, but I have the main ones. It's worth listening to him read it. It's a little eye-rolling. But this book is a mainstay, let's say a mainstay of Washington State's educational system. And kids are required, and the teachers don't seem to care. Yeah, this is great. Because the teachers nowadays seem to have lost their way. But I want to play these clips because it refers right back into, you talked about those 17 ideals from the UN.
The global goals.
You're not going to get there without brainwashing the kids at an early age.
Yeah, of course.
Well, here's the brainwashing. Let's listen for this is the A is for Activist Part 1.
Hi, this is Tom Morello here at Veritas Studios. I'm reading my first ever books on tape.
I'm sorry, I like Rage Against the Machine. I didn't know Morello was doing this stuff. This is the guy, isn't this, we're not going to take it, no, we're not going to... I mean, what happened to his fighting spirit? Did they get to him? Did they put a chip in his head? What happened? Was he always like that?
I must have been.
Ugh.
For a fine book called A is for Activist. This is a book that I have in my personal collection, and I read to my 3-year-old and 5-year-old when they will allow it. And now I'll begin reading it for the world.
A. A is for activist, advocate, abolitionist, ally. Actively answering a call to action. Are you an activist? B.
That reminds me of the book, Are You My Mother? Do you remember that book?
Yeah.
Are you my mother?
Actively answering a call to action. Are you an activist? B. B is for banner, bobbing in the sky, billowing in the breeze, 'cause you're not shy. C. C is for co-op, cooperating cultures, creative counter to corporate vultures. Oh, and cats. Can you find the cats? D. Little d, democracy.
Ugh.
More than voting, you'll agree. Dictators detest it. Donkeys don't get it. But you and me, we demand equality.
Now, this is putting subliminal messages into the child's head. Little d, donkey, all these things that they have no knowledge of. They're pre-programmed. Ugh.
E, equal rights. Black, brown, or white. Clean and healthy is a right. Every place we live and play. Environmental justice is the way. F. F is for feminist, for fairness in our pay, for freedom to flourish and choose our own way. H. H is for healthy food, a human right, honeydew, jicama, nature's delight. Hummus, hot dogs, Havarti cheese. Hot dogs? Yes, healthy hot dogs, please.
Is V for vegan? Can we just guess some of the things that are coming up here?
By the way, jicama spelled with a J, but
I know. And when I heard that, I have to smile because I classically said to the keeper once in a restaurant, "What's this jicama stuff?" And she still laughs when I say jicama. So jicama. I don't know. It's like chouse. You know, we all have something weird. You know, we're not afraid to admit we make mistakes. So where did we leave? We left off at jicama, or where are we?
Was that the end of that part?
That's the end of that part. Yes.
Yeah. There's a number of things in there that were. There's a whipsaws in there. It's in a very subtle way for the kids to confuse them. A lot of neuro-linguistic programming. I think you caught that.
Yeah, of course.
It's really a sinister, subversive book that does not really help children. It screws them up. And this is going on in Washington State. They just love this book. And so does this Morello guy. He just goes on. He just thinks it's the greatest thing ever. But let's go on. I took a lot of letters out of this next segment, and then I really cut it down for the third.
Okay.
But I had to keep a couple of these in.
No, this is why we exist. I mean, and this counters your hilarious say goodbye to Ruth $87 donation gambit, which I think is one of the best things you've come up with.
It was a loser.
You would be so fired. You'd be so fired anywhere else.
I would be fired.
You would be. Hey, you probably. So I don't want you to cut out. Yep. Okay.
What?
No, I don't want you to get cut out. I saw you redlining. It's okay. You're still good.
Oh, I didn't redline on my side. That's funny. I got the thing up now. So if I go out, I won't be gone for long. Yes, I would have been fired for that. I know it when I did it.
And it didn't work? And it didn't even work?
Well, it kind of worked. It kind of didn't. I mean, I can't say it worked. I know how the numbers go, and it was pretty much the same. It was
just funny. You said, "Hey, RGB
funny.
Died, and let's do it. Let's celebrate." Oh my God! Man.
In memory, not in a sick way.
No, but still, it's just imagine NPR. And for $87, we'll give you this handsome Ruth Bader Ginsburg tote bag.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah. If they had the guts. All right, let's go on with this stupid book.
I, indigenous and immigrant. Together we stand tall. Our histories are relevant. An injury to one is an injury to all.
And to all a good night.
J is for justice. Yay for justice. Ja Jing Jung. Juanita. Jamal. Justice for the janitors. Justicia for all.
No. That's not what J is for. We all know what J is for.
Jobs.
L. LGBTQIA. Love who you choose, because love is true. Liberate your notions of limited emotions. Celebrate with pride our links of devotion.
Is this not the way Dr. Seuss writes? Isn't this kind of like a Dr. Seuss kind of cadence, or am I missing?
His cadence varies from one letter to the other. There's some rhyme. It's just really a piece of crap, this book.
Let me continue.
M. Megaphones marching. Movimiento music. Hip hip hooray. It must be Mayday.
Oh, did he do Comrades at Sea, or did he going to do that with a K?
No, he didn't do that.
This guy's good.
But Mayday's in there. It gets getting worse.
It gets worse?
Yeah, I think it gets worse. Is that the end of the second clip?
Yeah, that's end of clip 2.
Okay, well, then the worst is at the very end, because it's just like, okay, just shoot me. Okay, onward.
N is for no. No, no, no. Yes to what we want. No to what must go. No, no, no.
It's so interesting. I know so many young mothers who, and maybe Jesse is like this, who do not want to use the word no with their children. They don't want them to use the word stupid, and they will not say no. They will explain what's wrong. Or have you heard about this no word?
Yeah, there's some elements of that, because I do watch Jesse get rankled when I called Theodore a dummy. It's a kid. I'll say stuff
how long
like,
does she not speak
can
to
you pass the thing over here, dummy?
You should follow it up when he doesn't do it. You should follow up and say, what, are you stupid?
Oh, yeah. Open minds operate best. Critical thinking over tests. Wisdom can't be memorized. Educate. Agitate. Organize. Peace march. Protest. Pow, power to
pew,
the people. Yeah. T is for trans.
Wow.
For trains. No. Tiaras. Tulips. Tractors. And tigers, too. Trust in the true. The he, she, they that is you. U is for weekends. U is for workers' rights. Wait, that's not U. That's W. U is for union. Union, yes. W. Wondrous world. Wondrous we. We cannot be whole. We cannot be free unless we delight in diversity. Z. Z is for Zapatista, of course.
Zapatista?
Yeah.
What's a Zapatista?
Yeah. It's a radical movement, the Zapatistas.
The Zapatistas? Of course, that's what the Z is for. What happened to zebra? Z is for zebra, people.
Z is for Zapatista, of course.
Z is for, of course. Oh, man. Well, you deserve this for sure. There's no doubt about that.
Clip of the day.
Well, this is being fought. You don't hear.
Barely.
Well, here is.
By the way, when Mimi sent me those clips, Mimi sent me the clip saying, this is why I took Jay out of school.
Yeah, and she's right. She's a very smart lady. And this is why President Trump announced this.
Today, I'm also pleased to announce that I will soon sign an executive order establishing a national commission to promote patriotic education. It will be called the 1776 Commission. Thank you. It will encourage our educators to teach our children about the miracle of American history and make plans to honor the 250th anniversary of our founding. Think of that, 250 years.
So he's going to combat that. He's doing, and all of this is executive order, so it could go, it's executive order. There's no good luck. He's done it. It's taken care of. It's going to happen. But executive orders are only as good as they last. You know, a year and a half maybe after the president who wrote it has left. In fact, he just signed up once again for the state of emergency based on September 11th, 2001. And he did the same as the two presidents. Did you just burp? Huh?
What?
I thought you burped. I heard this horrible burp.
No, I think it was this thing.
Oh, okay. It's no wonder that the president feels this way, as we know exactly what he thinks about this kind of thinking. Witness another one of the tapes revealed from Watergate's hero, Bob Woodward. Here we go.
I mean, we share one thing in common. We're white, privileged, my father was a lawyer and a judge in Illinois, and we know what your dad did. And do you have any sense that privilege has isolated and put you in a cave to a certain extent, as it put me and I think lots of white privileged people in a cave, and that we have to work our way out of it to understand the anger and the pain, particularly black people feel in this country.
No, you really drank the Kool-Aid, didn't you? Listen to you. Wow. No, I don't feel that at all.
Wow, you really drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing the president has done is he has stopped.
So hold on a second. So that was from the tapes.
Yeah.
No, you didn't introduce it.
That's exactly what I said.
Well, whatever it was, you didn't pump it up the right way. I was misled. I will say this. Is that in the book? You drink the Kool-Aid?
I don't know. Trump's response? Probably not. So the president has stopped all government agencies from bringing in consultants like Robin DiAngelo to teach critical race theory. And as it turns out, it was probably not, a minute too soon. It may even be too late. This is Christopher Rufo, I think his name is. He's from Pacific Research Institute. I'm sure he's paid. I'm sure it's some kind of stink bomb thing that Chinese, I'm sure it's another Epoch Times. But he did a report on the critical race theory that was going on in the U.S. government, and this was on American thought leaders. It is very good. Here's just about a minute and a half of it.
I've kind of understood that at the very, very tip of the iceberg minimum, we're talking about tens of millions of dollars per year. And these are really coming in a couple different forms. One form is that federal agencies are hiring outside consultants to serve as contractors or diversity consultants or kind of lecturers within the departments. That's one large source of funding. Another is organizations like the National Science Foundation and the Humanities Foundation, et cetera, are issuing grants to academics and other institutions to create the kind of research base to support this. And third, something that I've heard a lot of kind of frightening reports on, you have now kind of diversity offices within the federal government that are direct employees that in some cases, my sources tell me, function as almost internal intelligence services with a mission to kind of detect white supremacy, to detect unconscious bias, to detect whatever the flavor of the day is that they deem as bad, to root it out, and then to enforce this kind of ideology within the institutions. And, I've had kind of dozens of heartbreaking emails from people who said, I got into public service 10, 20, 25 years ago because I really wanted to make a difference in the government, make a difference in my community. And now I feel like I'm being essentially purged from the institution for my beliefs. I can't speak out of fear of retaliation. And I'm at my wit's end. What can you do to help?
I bet this is really rampant. I bet it's really, really horrible inside all these government agencies.
I think there's a lot of thinking about this having gone on during the Obama administration. In the military.
Yep. There's a lot of
we were commenting on it during the Obama era, where they were purging people from the military, good officers, leaving behind these kind of politicos, and which now people think is a part of the reason they were dog whistling to them via the nonsense, the unproven assertions that Trump said that, it's losers, these guys.
Right.
And that was just to get all the military's all, well, they hate Trump. They supposedly hate Trump.
I would say to the president, dial back the money to the military, bruh. You're giving them too much. They're spending it frivolously. This is worse than the $5,000 toilet seat.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good point.
So dial that back a bit. They got way too much money. They're wasting it on this stuff.
Well, they've never been audited. Let's audit them. Let's put some of that money into auditing the military.
Yeah, sure. With that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who is taking the C out of critical race theory, Mr. John C. Dvorak.
Yes, we do some of our own auditing. Well, in the morning to you, Mr. Adam Curry. In the morning, all ships, sea boots, and ground feet in the air, subs in the wall, the dames and nights out there.
Yes, in the morning to our trolls who we have in our troll room. And let's have a little troll count. They're really trolly. Harry Hamster is such a dick. There's a lot of people in there who are just like, ugh. It's like they're doing.
Get rid of him.
No, he's
ban him.
No, but they come in to do their own little show. It's like, after having seen Curry and Rogan, I bet they'll be first in line for the vaccine. I mean, this kind of stuff. They're doing shtick.
First in line for the vaccine. They're doing shtick.
We got 1627 trolls listening along. We got a lot of them in the troll room, and you can join them if you'd like to by going to noagendastream.com. You can listen to just the stream if you want to, which is 24 hours, 7 days a week of podcasts, lots of them live. And there's always someone hanging out in the troll room, so you hop in there, you talk about the show, talk about something else, or make fun of the host. It's all beautiful. And while you're in there, hit up the Dougster at Doug. You can just do ! NA Social, and you get a invitation, a link for noagendasocial.com, our federated social network, which I encourage every child. When I say child, I mean you're under 30. Get off of social media and set up your own Mastodon server. €9 a month at masto.host. It comes complete. €9 a month. You can have all your buddies in there. You can close it off. You can open it up to the Federation. And there's no algos to mess you up. And no one can deplatform you. You're in charge of it. So that's my public service announcement. Huh? And we'd like to thank the artist for episode 1278. We titled that Lockdown Face. And this was from Correct the Record, which is not a technically correct piece, because there were some things that I kind of noticed later when I saw it, the picture embiggened. This was the Fox News logo with Fox News replaced by Not Soros, Don't Mention Him, which there were even people looking at the art and laughing and saying, oh my gosh, you're probably going to get kicked off Twitter.
Yeah?
We didn't. Why? Can you turn your speakers down just a little bit? I can't seem to stop it from coming back at me.
Well, let me move the mic. Go on.
So what did you think of the art piece?
Well, I liked it. I thought it was a little sloppy.
That's what I'm saying. Technically not incredibly correct, but people were
very... What do you mean not correct?
Okay, if you look at it, you can see that the S was cut out.
The N.
Yeah, but the S bleeds over into the white searchlight beams.
Yeah,
and that's wrong.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's just sloppy. That's sloppy. I don't know what technically correct means.
Oh,
in this
okay.
context.
Fuck you. Whatever. Sloppy, technically correct. Thanks. Just trying to make conversation, John. Would you like to say anything else?
What is the bitch of the other people? I don't care about it.
Because you get deplatformed for saying anything bad about Soros. It's anti-Semitic. Don't you get it?
You can't do it because it's
It's anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but the problem is it's an image.
People were concerned. That's how weird we've gotten.
Well, that's pathetic.
Yeah, I wasn't worried. It was like, I don't have a blue check mark, so I have nothing to worry about. I'm not important to the apparatchik.
Well, first of all, it's an image, and the algorithms can't scan an image and read it. They don't have that capability. Not that it's not doable, but they don't do that. And
no, but it could be reported. This stuff happens mainly when people report you.
What are they going to report?
Anti-Semitic behavior.
Well, I didn't get reported, it seems.
No.
Now we're giving people ideas.
No, fine. That's your trolls, the ones you love. You block and report them right away, so we have nothing to worry about.
I do. I block them. Report them.
As part of our value for value system, we love getting this artwork from our artists. So many are submitting. So many are participating. Please go take a look at noagendaartgenerator.com because you can get a good laugh out of stuff that even is too outrageous for us to put anywhere, and some that's really funny, but
use it.
It's just stuff that we can't use. It does wind up all again part of the Value for Value network on t-shirts, mugs, hats, hoodies, masks, gaiters at noagendashop.com. And they give a portion. I think they split it 3 ways themselves with the artist, and then they eventually wind up something to the show, and they do that regularly, and we appreciate it. It's part of the 3 T's of our Value for Value model. You can help us by giving us your time, your talent, or your treasure. And we'd like to thank the treasure people and give them titles of executive producers and associate executive producers, just like Hollywood, kind of around the first break of the show. And
yeah, before we do that, I do want to talk about the art some more. I just want to mention one piece that's on here, just because the artists love the feedback from me. So Darren O'Neill did because we talked about cheesecake, how I'd like to get some cheesecake on the art. So Darren O'Neill did a kind of a drawing of a woman, kind of a cheesecake drawing, but no. Cheesecake is always a photograph. FYI.
Okay.
So let's start with thanking some people for show 1279. Tony Cabrera is at the top of the list.
Speak of the devil. Speak of the devil.
He's the devil because he does the No Agenda shop. $1,056.33, which is quite a bit.
Damn, that's like
somebody's buying gators or something. I don't know. What do you call them?
Yeah, neck gators, masks, neck gators.
Greetings to the best podcast in the universe from the No Agenda Shop. We've been hearing other podcasts throw that descriptor around recently, so we decided to add a new best podcast in the universe collection by artist Sir Boiled Peanut to the shop.
Okay, I haven't seen this yet.
We hope our newest products make it known to all that No Agenda is the original, the OG best podcast in the universe. As usual, it's getting late, so just NJNK for now.
These are nice. It's kind of an old school, No Agenda cursive, best podcast in the universe. I don't know how they do this. They are able to create products so quickly. Is that just some manufacturing that it's become so easy that people can do that?
I'm sure it's jobbed.
It's Hey, there's a Club 33 hat here. Holy crap. This is a good-looking hat. These guys are so good. I got to order some more stuff.
Well, they're definitely on the ball.
Yes.
It's one of those operations that you can say in general, they're on the ball.
On the ball.
Not everybody can say that. Next on the list is Moses, who comes in with $1,000.56. I don't know, what is this 56?
That's for my birthday still.
Oh. So he wrote a note in. He seemed to want to just be known as Moses.
Mm-hmm.
No state, it says Moses, no state. Long time boner, first time donor. Thank you for the knowledge and entertainment. And it says, I don't know how he spells it. I wanted to send something unique. I've included the posters. Yes, he sent me 2 posters of his identical brothers and I from a photo study of multiples. So there's triplets. These 3 guys are all in there. Looks like they're in their 30s. And there's 3 of them. They look the same except for him. Moses himself is in the middle, and he's got a big nose. So you have triplets with one guy with a big nose. Looks like he got popped or something.
Really?
Sure. Yeah. That's what it looks like. So he got into a fight with one of the other brothers. And
that's pretty funny.
The swelling's never really receded completely.
Oh, and the neighbors will all say, yeah, there's that one.
The one with the nose. No jingles, no karma. He says, P.S. I'm in the middle. And then P.P.S. he says, I have no expectation that you'll keep these photos, these posters.
Does he want anything at the round table? Is there anything he wants that's specific?
No, and he didn't even say he wanted to be knighted, except on his check, it says Insta-Knight.
Okay, well then he's done. He's good to go. We'll take care of him.
So I put his name on the list as Sir Moses.
You got it.
Well, that sounds like it should do the trick.
Yeah. Thanks, Moses.
Rolling along with another $1,000 from Jeffrey Weber in Osage, Iowa. That's 3. If you could add me to the birthday list for the 21st, if not taken, I'd like to be known as the Knight of the North Iowa Tundra.
Got it.
I must be de-douched.
You can do that too. Hold on. Where's the de-douching bag? Okay.
You've been de-douched.
Says I'm a long-time boner, first-time donor. I like first-time donors to come in with $1,000.
Love that.
Grimerica showed me your show back in 2017.
Oh, man, I have to go on that show. It's the wrong day. It's always the wrong night. It's a Saturday.
They'll record you. They'll go out of their way to record you anytime you want to do the show.
At this point, it's become superstitious. Like, if I do the show, then something horrible is going to happen. All these good things happen when I don't do the show.
No, this is a good one. Wow.
You feel me now?
Yeah.
Have you done What Are These Podcasts yet?
I've done the Grimerica show.
No, What Are These Podcasts?
No, because I'm going to have to talk to him about how to approach the show. I've decided that I can't
just
come
go
in
on
with
and
my own complaining podcasting. So I've decided, I've made some decisions.
Ooh.
Matt Whiffen, meanwhile, has made a decision to give us $333.34, and he's in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, stuck, obviously, in the basement. G'day, Podfather and Tech Father. With this back-to-back donation of the 3s, I can now finally become a No Agenda Knight. I'd like to be Sir Matt Whiffen, Knight of the Beaumaris Bay? I don't know. Could be. And Greater Port Phillips Bay, if possible. And indeed it is. At the round table, could I get a shepherd's pie, some snags thrown on the Barbie, and a cheesy mite scrolls?
Sounds
as we endure
groovy.
This 12-inch extended remix of the Wuhan Kung Flu Panic, I'd like to thank you and the producers for the work you've done exposing the lies we're being told. Personally, without No Agenda, Steve Deese and The Blaze and Daniel Horowitz at Conservative Review, I'd have no way to push back on the M5N panic porn with friends and family. I'd also like to hit Anthony Mannering in the mouth, a sometime listener who needs to pony up.
I guess that's a douchebag call out.
Douchebag. By the way, since the double Trump jobs karma on show 1277, there has been a surprising drop in unemployment announced with the 100,000 jobs added in the last month.
And they question
Matt.
Question if we're the best podcast in the universe.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt
Thanks,
about
Matt. See you at the round table. I've ordered it for you.
Is there anything else you wanted? No?
Nope.
It's not. Well, then we'll move on to Maxine Waters Gravel, who's been missing in action for a while in Louisville, Kentucky. Looks like the Gravel sent in a note. Let's see, where is it?
Do you know who I saw the other day at the grocery store?
Who?
Jamaican in New York. Do you remember him?
No.
Black guy, Jamaican in New York. Ah, he's from way back. Huh, okay.
Well, what did he say to you?
Well, I mean, there's this big black guy said, "Hey!" And I'm like, what? Because he had a mask on. I didn't know what's going on. Said, Adam. Yeah, he's like 6'6". Hey, it's Jamaican in New York. Yeah, I guess he went to San Francisco to work for TaskRabbit, and he fled back to Austin. He couldn't stand it anymore. He says, I was dying out there. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi to him because we hadn't heard from him in a long time.
Well, I hope he listens to the show.
Oh yeah, he does. He still listens.
Salutations, ACC and JC, DC, JCDC. Podfather, forgive me since it's been some time since we last for donation. John, can you turn down your speakers? Thanks. What a better way to celebrate my 13th negative COVID test. 13?
Wow.
You even have a problem with your nose.
And will you count it 13 times?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's how we roll. Yep.
Makes sense to me.
Case.
And some extra CARES funding then to donate to the No Agenda show. On to the business at hand. I'd like to petition the Peerage Committee as my last donation elevated me to the level of Baron, but an official title change was omitted.
Oh.
Perhaps it was my request to claim Greater Bongoland and the surrounding territories. Yes, not very PC, and especially if the omission permits me to be called a black baron. Now, Gravel's lives matter too, you know. Also, while standing in line at customer service, I'd like to file a grievance with the No Agenda Locals Union. It seems that a group of No Agenda listeners in New Jersey have hijacked Local 8008. I believe the record will show that Local 8008 was first claimed pre-COVID by the citizens of Louisville, Kentucky.
Oh, that's
Sir
possible.
Mittens can attest to this fact, as I originally wanted to name us Local 6969 dude. But I was overruled as he was buying the beer.
Oh, no.
Look, enough malarkey, no jingles, no karma. Orange karma's for all. Gravel out.
Orange karma? That's not
Orange karmas.
Oh, we can do that. Maxine Waters Gravel becomes a baron? We're doing that, I guess, right?
I think he has to be added, and it would be Baron of, Baron of Greater Bongo Land.
Baron of Greater Bongo Land. We're all going to hell.
Orange!
You've got karma.
That's orange karma. Okay, I didn't know what it was.
I just made it up. It may be something else. That's what I thought.
Oh, well, it's actually you as usual.
On Johnny
on the fly stuff is as good as gold.
Tight for this market.
Alan Vigliotto in Wallingford, Connecticut, $256. He becomes associate executive producer. And here I've got a note from him. He wrote it in a check. And Vigliotto, I don't know, he could talk a little bit, like a Vigliotto might. You guys are pretty good.
Do that again. I like that.
You guys are pretty good. Definitely better than average for sure. I appreciate your deconstructions. I've come to the conclusion that the best way to consume news and media, M5M stuff, is through a third party like yourselves. Thanks. I would like this money to go toward my mother, Doris. That's Doris, Doris, John. I can't get her to make a habit out of listening to the show. I keep trying to hit her in the mouth, but I'm swinging too hard or too erratically. Maybe now she'll listen since she's on her way to becoming a dame.
Doris.
Alan, may I get a Pelosi Jobs karma and a quick dealer's choice Dvorak jingle? I need that sweet vitamin C.
What kind of Dvorak jingle does he want?
I don't know. Maybe ants. What
everybody
mac and cheese. Give him the mac and cheese.
No, everybody loves a JCD ants intro. There's nothing quite like it. We'll have to do that. Everybody loves it, and then we'll kick in a jobs from the Pelosi Meister. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
I got ants. I got ants.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And did I get what was the thing?
What was the thing?
Get on the birthday. Was there a birthday list?
No, it was just.
It's just the money goes to her. We're going to put her as the executive producer.
Oh, what's her name? What's her name then?
Doris.
Doris. Okay, Doris. Doris gets it. Doris, you're in, Doris.
Doris Vigliotto. Okay, Guy Biozzi.
Yeah, Guy.
Guy Boazzi.
There you go.
Guy Boazzi, Baron Protector of the Shape-Changing Jews. I think it's
I thought it was shape-changing Jews. Shape-shifting Jews. That's right. Who wrote that
this
in?
week? Okay, well, he's in Tel Aviv, so he would be, know something about it. $229.74. This donation is given in order to expose this systematic racism and no agenda. And since I am Jewish and Israeli, systematic anti-Semitism.
He's saying systemic, not systematic. He says systemic. That's worse.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me start it over.
Yeah.
This donation is given in order to expose this systemic racism and no agenda. And since I am Jewish and Israeli, systemic anti-Semitism. How do I know? You did not grant me executive producer status with my 807 silver shekels. Regardless, I seriously... Shekels. Okay. Well, we explained it at the time. Regardless, and seriously, this donation marks my 46th revolution around the sun. You got on the birthday list this coming Tuesday. Also comes to the show the value partial that I and many others with lousy currency exchange rates can give back to the show. The past shows have been great, and after a bit of COVID-inspired slump, I almost fell overboard. Ooh. We are now heading into the peak election season with no agenda analysis and thinking. We are sure to have great fun. Please provide me with a random Sharpton and some well-needed Trump goat work karma. Thanks. Baron Guy.
Oops, sorry about that.
Not Guy. Yeah. I am not French. Boazzi.
I think I was the one that was saying Guy Boazzi for a year or two.
You were, that's right. You were singing, I finally, it's Guy.
Yeah, and then you finally set me straight. Yes, exactly. A little longer, because it's a good one.
He's getting lunch at Chipotle. The tortoise in the race. Kim Kardashian, Sigourney Weaver, Rush, R-E-S-P-I-C-T. They're all jitty, R-E-S-P-I-C-T. There's no real conflict. Resist. We must. Resist. Just a little bit. We must. Just a little bit. We must. Just a little bit. And we will much. Just a little bit. About. Just a little bit. That. Just a little bit. Be committed.
Jobs, jobs, jobs.
You've got karma.
Tiffany Dame, 20920. And it could be pronounced Dame. A few weeks ago, you read a note from my son who gave me a shout out for my birthday. Now it's my turn. Happy birthday to my under-socialized and over-informed son, Vincent of Tucson, who turns 22 on 9/20. No jingles, just some karma.
Did I forward you the essay that the Nouse kid wrote? Did I tell you about that?
I don't remember.
You know the Nouses or the Noses? How do you pronounce it?
The Nouse boys.
Well, there's from the 16-year-old
family.
Yeah, from the 16-year-old daughter who's a dame. And so they're homeschooled, or the homeschooling, and she wrote an essay about two books from Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, and the other one I forgot what it was. And it was dynamite. I got to forward it to you. It was dynamite. These kids, the kids who are no agenda-ing with their parents, it's good stuff.
Yes, and we should mention homeschooled kids always win the National Spelling Bee.
Is that true?
Always.
It's like 29 of 29 wins is always a homeschooled kid, huh? It doesn't surprise me.
Onward with Dan in Midland, Texas. Someone known as Dan, $201.80. ITM from West Texas. I've been a listener since the first and only time that I heard Adam on the Twit show. So when you were on Twit, pulling a gun on Leo, that's when he started listening. But this is my first donation, so I need a de-douching.
You got it.
You've been de-douched.
My donation of $201.80 is a result of the No Agenda ham node number of 50450 times 4 for NAMS. Trying to get the word out to get more of us like-minded hams talking together on the air. Please give me a China is asshole and goat karma, the favorites of my number one human resource, Dan in Midland.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
China is asshole.
You've got karma.
We do our own propagandizing to the young ones.
Is that your most recent note from him?
That's the note he sent with the check.
Interesting. I have a note from yesterday. He says, let me just make sure it's the same guy. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Peter. I looked up the next one. Okay, yes, you got Dan.
Oh, yeah, I got Peter's note.
You got Peter's note? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Peter, you want to pronounce his name while I go look his note up?
Oh, I just clicked it away. I thought you had.
No, I have the note. It's on the tab. I just have to go to the tab.
It's Peter Bokelman. I would presume he's Dutch. Peter Bokelman. I think he's
Bokelman. Okay. Hi, Jebediah and Jeremiah. I have a new human resource on the way, so I need some baby karma pronto. So I don't get a woke Hummer or an uptalker. A little girl J jingle would take care of that, or a goat scream. Whatever gets the job done. So he doesn't want to. He gets having a girl, I guess. So he doesn't get a Hummer, woke Hummer, which would be the worst, or an uptalker. Or by the way, usually that comes in together as a package.
It's a package deal. Exactly. Get an uptalk and Hummer.
So he wants a little girl, yay, says J, but it says yay jingle. It should take care of that, or a goat scream.
Yeah, well,
get them both.
Yeah, we're gonna exactly.
Yay! You've got karma.
And that will be our list of associate producers and associate executive producers, I meant, for show 1279.
Yes, thank you all so much. And these titles that you've received are real titles. You can use them anywhere you want to impress people and impress upon them how important you are. So you are either an executive producer or, yes, even you, Guy, an associate executive producer of the No Agenda Show, episode 1279. If anyone questions it, be very happy to vouch for you. We love doing that. And thank you for supporting the show. If anyone else would like to be on this list and have us interact with your writings or your postcards or whatever it is, go to the following web address.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And we'll be thanking more people in our second segment for their time, talent, and treasure.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave. Shut up, slave.
Now, I have a couple of ISO suggestions.
Oh, goody.
Taken mostly from the A is for Activist book.
Surprise, surprise. Yes.
Okay, we can start off with this one. This one's yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
I like that. That's a good one.
That's a good end to show.
Yeah, it's a good end to shower.
This is another one which was cut out of the thing because I don't know why. I just cut it out, but this was boo hiss.
Boo hiss.
I think I like the yes, yes, yes better.
Okay, well, we got one more.
Oh.
Any evidence, which I don't think is from the book, it's from someplace else.
And is there any evidence that this has actually happened?
Yes, okay. Yes, yes.
That's your winner. That's your winner.
I think it is a good one.
That's your winner right there. That is it. Okay.
So I've concluded, and that evidence clip comes from this, that Deutsche Welle is sold out to the Chinese.
And why not?
Why not? All the other media.
Are you saying this? Are you saying this without evidence?
No, it's only through inference. But I noticed they had this. They were doing this story, one of these stories on the Chinese. Something Trump did. Well, here, play this clip, and you'll hear what I'm talking about with this. They keep trying to debunk something. See, this is DW Defense China Group 1.
Dipan Ghosh directs the Platform Accountability Project at the Harvard Kennedy School. As a computer scientist, he served as a technology and economic policy advisor in the Obama White House and a public policy advisor at Facebook.
Okay, stop here.
Welcome to
So here's Deutsche Welle brings in a guy from the Obama administration.
Right.
Figuring they can slam Trump over this TikTok decision.
Okay. Makes sense. Yes.
The guy doesn't do it. He just goes along and says, no, this could be a serious problem. The guy doesn't. So this DW guy keeps hounding him to change his answer. And to the point where you end up with this stupid ending to this particular clip series. But you'll hear. Okay, play it again. Sorry.
Obama White House and a public policy advisor at Facebook. Welcome to DW. Let's start with the basics. Is TikTok a threat to U.S. national security?
Well, it's a difficult question, but I think that it can be. It very well can be, and the implication is very clear that you have an application here.
Classic. Thank you. Just a tad.
It can certainly have an impact on our national security considerations.
Because here's the thing: when someone as old as me looks at something like that, I see teenagers jumping around and lip syncing, and it's hard to connect that with national security threats. So what am I missing?
Through which the application can start, the company, ByteDance, can start to develop inferences, behavioral.
Okay, so they can get all that, forgive me for interrupting, they can get all that information, but why is that a danger? Why is it, which bit of that is dangerous?
We saw in the case of Russia in 2016.
And is there any evidence that this has actually happened?
Okay, so I guess he didn't stick to the script.
Yeah, so he didn't stick. So he does 2 or 3 other interviews with other people. Same thing. He can't. It's beyond him how they could want to ban TikTok. So they give up and they bring a woman in, and this time she's going to bring a guy in who is going to ask the same basic questions of a guy from this. I think he's from Nottingham, or he's from the UK. You know, he probably hates Trump. So we're going to get this answer somehow that this is a farce. Again, no results. And this is the Group 2 clip.
We have Ansgar Köhne with us from the University of Nottingham School of Computer Science. Hi, Ansgar. Thanks for joining us. What is your take on this? How safe is it to use TikTok or WeChat?
Hi, thank you. TikTok or WeChat, as far as our research is concerned, they're basically the same as any kind of social media app. You need to be aware that you are giving away quite a lot of data about yourself, not just the content that you are uploading, but metadata around the time when you're using the app, possibly who you're connecting with, possibly your location data. So all kinds of data is being given away when you're using these apps.
Okay, I'd call that cock blocking the problem.
So he continues, and she goes after him too, but they get nowhere. Everyone, all of the DW guests that came on, were all in agreement that this is crazy. A danger. And she goes, or this last guy goes on with the fact that everybody does collect data like this, but is which government do you trust having this data? And that's really what it amounted to. So this made me conclude, after listening to all this stuff, and I cut that one short because it's actually boring, is that DW is playing ball with China. There's no doubt in my mind about it.
And why wouldn't they, honestly? I mean, why wouldn't they? We already know that they were in bed with the U.S. Remember wasn't it a Deutsche Welle guy several years ago? Oh, no, he was probably from Bild. It wasn't Deutsche Welle. It was Bild. Remember that? The guy said that he was all in, had done stuff with the CIA and taken messaging. It's all about money. You know, Matt Taibbi wrote I thought, kind of a thoughtful piece over the weekend on his Superstack, whatever that is, Substack. And the crux of he says, why is the news like this? Why are we so divided? Why is it one way, the other way? And he said it had to do with I'm not quite sure why I'm transitioning to this, but it somehow makes sense. That the technological aspects of news are largely responsible because of the segregation of all these channels. And so I think this is how it ties in. We used to have, CBS Evening News, and to get the biggest audience, they had to kind of be in the middle. So make no mistake, it was not fair and balanced. No one gave a crap about that. In fact, he writes about, is it Lowell? Lowell, was he the first big CBS News guy?
No.
He also
Lowell Thomas was he did
the movies, the old movie, movie reels.
He did movie news, movie tone news, I think, or one of those, and he also did a lot of mostly travel stuff, and then he did op-eds,
Taibbi. Okay. Well, Taibbi used.
He wasn't an anchor, is what you're trying to get at. That I know of. I don't remember Lowell Thomas ever being an anchor.
Well, let me just read it to you for a second. Because the post-objectivity era is what he's talking about. And he talks about Thomas Lowell began doing a national news program in 1930. So I think he was doing this. And then he wrote a book about called Fan Mail, which is about all the people who were angry at him. So I think he was an early CBS guy. along with the movie stuff. That's not
you're missing the punchline if you just say it was family. It had a different title to begin with.
It did have a different title to begin with.
Yeah, it was mail that people hate my guts mail. And
something like that. Yeah. So did you read the piece or not?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it would. Okay. Thanks for helping me struggle.
I just gave you the thing. The thing, the thing.
The thing.
No joke.
Yeah, no joke, man. I hear you. It's the thing. Whatever. Are you doing origami? There's all kinds of rustling and...
Please. All you're doing is complaining.
I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to keep the noise levels down. Keep the signal noise level in check here. And so he said, back in the day, the biggest audience was by appealing to everybody. Pro, con, right, blue, left, wing, up, down, right, left, all of that. But as more channels came in...
I'm stunned. I'm shocked.
I had not thought of it this way. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm way beneath your incredible intelligence level, but I'd never considered that was a big part of the problem. And that's why everybody has to go for their one small audience and be completely pandering to them, which makes everybody always think we're doing that, even though we're not. We're not pandering to anybody except to each other.
We're pandering to the smart, logical people.
Yes.
Who want to understand what's going on around them without bias. That's what we are pandering to a group.
Yes.
And it's them, the intelligent public. Or that.
Yes. So bottom line is, it's no wonder they have to choose China. It's always about the money. They have to choose China's money, I don't think Russia pays anybody any money to spike stories for them.
The bounties.
They didn't even make good on those bastards. No. So, it's like, it doesn't surprise me that Deutsche Welle would be all in. It's like New York Times and Washington Post may still be pretending, but that they've got to be taking China. Everybody's taking this Chinese money. How come we never got any?
Because, the way we're going, I think playing China is asshole 1,000 times and counting doesn't help.
Oh, you mean like this?
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
OTG going OTG. I'm an OTG kind of guy.
Yeah, baby, we're on the OTG kind of guy tip. That's right.
I'm an OTG kind of guy.
Yeah. The new iPhone iOS 14 came out, which does appear to stop a lot of tracking, and it notifies you if shit's being copied from your clipboard. It doesn't actually stop it. It'll say, "Hey, that app just copied something." It's kind of strange after the fact. It does a lot of that. Hey, your camera's on. But
your camera's on, doofus.
And now it's a little red light, so you can know that the camera's on, which is kind of disturbing because Tina has her iPhone, and when she just uses the phone app, the little red light for the camera comes on, even if she's not using the camera. She thinks so. It's like. Maybe even just having the permissions is triggering that, but I think it's good. If you put in a VPN, you put in some kind of firewall stuff, and there's a number of apps. I think Lockdown is the latest that people are talking about. It may actually, without any other apps, just the stock Apple stuff with a web browser, it might actually come close to an OTG phone, but you have to get an old one. You really got to stay in the iPhone 7 range, I think. It could be. But
I think there's a couple of things you should note.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, hackers can can write code that would turn your camera on so they can watch you and turn off the light. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Mm-hmm.
And similar hackers with less skills can just make the light go on just to freak you out.
Yeah. Yes. True. But in general, at our age, John, we should be happy someone wants to look at us.
Hey, look, hey, kids.
Hey, man, come on. Now, speaking of our age range, great podcast. Patti LaBelle was speaking with Gladys Knight. These are two dames, two divas of soul, R&B and soul, talking on a podcast. And what do you know? Patti LaBelle is OTG. OTG.
They know a
Yeah.
lot more than we do.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, let
They
me
be on
honest.
top of stuff.
But let me say something, Gladys. I have a flip phone.
Yeah.
I don't have an iPhone, a pay phone, a talk phone. I have a flip phone for about 12 years.
Yeah.
That's how I roll. So when real calls come in, I use Zori's phone or Kim's phone or somebody's phone. You know, they're real phones.
Yeah.
But I love my
Yeah.
flip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very low key.
Ain't nothing wrong with what happened yesterday.
Right? You won't miss dial on the flip.
I tell you.
Okay?
I tell you, you don't miss about
Y'all is right.
Oh, so we got to get it. Ain't nothing wrong with taking yesterday's calls. Did she say that? What's it with the flip phone? Yeah, I'm taking calls from yesterday. I like these ladies. These ladies are great.
Well, it's always never made sense to me. Why does everybody think that they're a doctor on call in the ER?
Oh, God.
That they got to get there.
Were you one
I
of
always
those
felt that when people had pagers.
Of course, you were one of those people you'd see someone with a pager at a cocktail party. You go up and say, "Hey, are you a fireman?" You're one of those people, aren't you? I know you are one of those. Yes, you are. You just said it. You don't like people at pagers. What are you, that important? You could be Dutch.
I could be Dutch.
That is a very Dutch thing to say. When pagers first came out, even when the first mobile phone, not cell phone, mobile phone, which is a huge battery with an antenna on it and a handset, and people would see this and say, "Oh, what are you, a doctor? Are you selling partner or something?" While I'm spinning records at a sock hop. It's like, yeah, I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor, all right.
Records at the sock.
It's true.
They don't even have sock hops anymore.
Oh my goodness, no, not sock hops, but you can still get some. It was called the Adam Curry Drive-In Show. You know, I'd have a whole setup, and I'd roadies, and they'd set up the sound system and lights and the turntables, and then I'd have a DJ who would open for me for about an hour and a half. And I'd roll up and I'd do 2 hours of just the best record spinning. Yeah. Every weekend.
Where's this?
In Holland.
Huh.
Back when I was 19, 20. Yeah.
You packed them in.
Yeah, I sure did.
I think you should grow your hair out again.
I don't think so. Why would you even say that?
Because now's your excuse. Have you looked at Brad Pitt or any of these Hollywood people? They're unkempt.
Yeah, they look like shit.
COVID makes it. When did you get an excuse to never shave again because of COVID?
Well,
this makes no sense to me.
No, what's going on is what we learned here in Austin from my hairdresser. It's not so bad now, but if you got a haircut, you would get called out as an elitist prick. Because no one could get their hair cut during the lockdown. If you got your hair cut, that means you had someone come to your house, which was kind of illegal, and you had them cut your hair. So everybody wanted to, stick with the program and not got called out. Just like Nancy going to the salon. That's what everybody was afraid of. That's why, and the Hollywood stars are the worst. They're virtue signaling. It's probably a wig. He's probably got his short hair on. He's Fight Club. And now, no, he's got the long hair.
I think we should both get wigs.
Okay.
They're cheap.
Why would we want wigs? And why do you think this is a good idea?
We should be the wig
From
brothers.
the man who said I look dynamite on Rogan. Rogan says I'm one of the best looking men in the world, right next to Rob Lowe. I think it's a compliment. I'm not going to wear a wig and ruin everything. And I do have some exciting news that is not related
to
any
wig
of
hat?
This. No, none of this. So an article in what's now in the news, Airbus is displacing Boeing as the aerospace's biggest company. And that's not surprising, and this had nothing to do with...
Not at all.
Sorry?
No, it's not surprising that Boeing's been screwing up for years now. They've screwed the pooch.
They made some shit planes that killed people.
Yeah.
I mean, they've all made some mistakes, but yeah, so it's completely like, okay, duh. But I'm here to tell you, aviation is going to change. So there is something that has happened, a new tech. It's a new design that is dynamite, and it's called laminar flow. LAMINAR, laminar flow.
Yeah, this is the holy grail of flight that has never been achieved and never will be achieved?
Well, they've done 31 flights so far with the Celera 500L. You can go to autoaviation.com. And so they have built an aircraft. They're flying it. This aircraft, which will cost probably about $2 million, so you're in very small, low-end private jet range, but it has a 6'2" cabin height, 6 passengers comfortably. And here's the kicker. A traditional jet of this size would cost about $2,500 per hour to fly, to operate. This plane, $328 per hour. It can go up to 60,000 feet, cruise speed almost 500 miles an hour, and it has a 4,500 nautical mile range. Private aviation is about to come to 5,000 regional, it'll be a year or two, to 5,000 regional airports in the U.S., where you get 6 of you, and you're flying, and it's going to be cheaper than a coach, or equivalent to coach, really. And you can fly anywhere you want, at whatever time you want. I think these guys have hit upon something phenomenal. I didn't know the laminar flow, that this was something that has never been achieved. They're doing it. They're flying it.
Yeah, we'll see.
What is so special about laminar flow that is?
It's not possible.
I didn't even know what it is.
Laminar flow means that that means there is no resistance. The air hits the wings, where it doesn't really hit the wing. It flows over the wing with no resistance whatsoever. It's a perfect flow. And below the wing, same thing, where you get the vacuum. It's just there's zero resistance. The air sucks.
Oh no,
it's
they don't have.
It's like a laminate on top of the wing. It doesn't. There's no turbulence. There's none of the.
Did you go to the website? Did you look at the website?
No.
Autoaviation.com. OTTO. They basically built a blimp.
Yeah.
And they get 59% reduction in drag because of the laminate. They don't have full laminar flow, but looks like, it's like a flying pickle. Like they're stuck.
Okay, now you make me have to go look.
Yes, of course you have to look at it. You can't just sit there and just...
Auto what?
Auto Aviation. OTTO aviation.com.
Is a guy named Otto? Is that the idea?
I don't know. Let me go look that up. Yes. His name is William Otto.
Okay, sure.
What?
Well, if this works, I'm all in.
It's flying. They've done 31 test flights already.
Yeah. A little prop in the back?
Yeah. Double engine.
It's got a prop in the back, and it does 500 miles an hour at 60,000 feet?
It has 2 engines, and it's a pusher. Now, a pusher prop is very different than a pole prop. So they've taken a lot of stuff into account here. Yeah. They go 60,000 foot ceiling, and it's like 450 miles per hour. This thing... Did I what?
Did you click on interested in coming on board and getting a free flight?
No.
Well, I did.
Dan, did you sign up?
I'm signing up now. I'll go for a ride in this thing.
I was excited. I was like, wow, man. We should get in on that business. We need a fleet of these. Fly everybody around.
Huh. It's interesting looking.
Yeah. Well, no, it looks weird. It looks like a pickle. But
it looks exactly like a pickle. You're right.
Yeah. Flying turd.
The flying pickle.
Flying turd. I'm good with it. I'll take that turd any day. Before we get to our second break, and we have some good meetup reports and stuff to talk about. Clark and Daw, those are the 2 guys who do the British kind of, like political back and forth. He asks them a question, he answers the question. You've seen him, dark background. They took on the European Union debt crisis, which is not discussed. It's been very weird to see how most countries are not even looking at external news at all anymore. Everyone is so self-absorbed with their own stuff. I mean, again, shout out to Down Under for our friends in Victoria who are, I think, falsely imprisoned in Melbourne and the surrounding areas. Yeah, I think they're falsely imprisoned. Basically kidnapped. We've got our friends and family around the European Union, the UK, being terrorized with a second wave of nothing. cases. Yeah, what happened? No, there's no deaths, no ventilators. Okay, fine. But the bailout was a problem because we had Italy pretty much ready to take down the whole union with their debt. So the Netherlands, the Dutch, this is stupid. We'll lend them some money, and the Germans will lend them some money, and it creates this hilarious situation.
Special subject tonight is the economies of the European community. Your time starts now. Best of luck.
Thank you.
How much does Greece owe, Roger?
$367 billion.
Correct. And who do they owe it to?
Mostly to the other European economies.
Correct. How much does Ireland owe?
$865 billion.
Correct. And who do they owe it to?
Other European economies, mostly.
Correct. How much does Spain and Italy owe?
$1 trillion each.
Correct. Who to?
Mainly France, Britain and Germany.
Correct. And how are Germany, France and Britain going, Roger?
Well, they're struggling a bit, aren't they?
Correct. Why?
Because they've lent all these vast amounts of money to other European economies that can't possibly pay them back.
Correct. So what are they going to do?
They're going to have to bail them out.
Correct. Where are they getting the money to do that, Roger?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one.
How much does Portugal owe?
Hang on a minute. What was the answer to that earlier question?
Just keep answering the questions, Roger. Where is Portugal going to get the money it owes to Germany if Germany can't get back the money that it lent to Italy?
Just a minute. What was the answer to the previous question? The question was, how can broke economies lend money to other broke economies who haven't got any money because they can't pay back the money the broke economy lent to the other broke economy and shouldn't have lent it to them in the first place because the broke economy can't pay it back?
You're wasting very valuable time, Roger. How much money does Spain owe to Italy?
$41 billion, but where are they going to get it?
Correct. What does Italy owe to Spain?
$27 billion, but they haven't got it. They're broke.
Correct. How can they pay each other if neither of them has any money?
They're going to get a bailout, aren't they?
Correct. And where's the money coming from for the bailout?
That's what I'm asking you.
Correct. Why are people selling the European currency and buying the US dollar?
Because the US economy is so much stronger than the European economy.
Correct. Why is that, Roger?
Because it's owned by China.
Correct. And very well done. And after that round, you've lost $1 million.
I've lost $1 million. I thought you said well done.
Yes, well done. You've only lost $1 million. That's an extraordinary performance, Roger.
I've only lost $1 million.
Very well done.
And that's quite good, is it?
Oh, it's excellent.
Sell everything immediately.
I love those guys. I think
I've never seen or heard of them.
Oh, we've played stuff right from them before. Long time ago. Yeah, it's been a comedy duo, but it's always this kind of stuff, and it's really, really funny. And, of course, we all know there's only one solution to what's going down.
They're saying that all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to need a Bitcoin.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda. In the morning.
And indeed, we do have a few people to thank for show 1279. And let's start by thanking them. Beginning with Joseph Arco in Aurora, Illinois. You can read. He's a knight, I think, coming up, so you might want to read his note. He's $140.
We need to read this one since he is being, I think, he's knighted today. Short comment for the show. He says, "Gentlemen," oh, that's our thing. Short comment, "Gentlemen, it's with great pleasure that I complete my knighthood with a donation towards episode 1279, accounting attached. I understand you don't normally read notes under $200, but if you feel so inclined, I have a couple of points and a request. Adam, I canceled my Netflix subscription because of Cuties, and I'm sorry, but I haven't seen the movie. Having seen the preview was more than enough." I'd like to respond to that by saying, when Frau Ingraham talks about this controversy and shows that gross preview in the little box over her left shoulder, you should turn that shit off too. But I bet you didn't. Don't need to watch that filth to know I'm against it. You know where there were some casting directors involved in that film having far too much fun. It's gross. Yes, and may I suggest you go take a look at some Shirley Temple movies from when was Shirley Temple? 70 years ago at this point?
Within the 30s.
You want to see some creepy stuff? Really, really creepy? Just go to YouTube, Shirley Temple creepy, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's ingrained in Hollywood. I began listening to...
You want to see some creepy stuff? Watch some of the game shows from the 70s. Anyway, go on.
Not as creepy as early Shirley Temple stuff, man.
I don't know.
Well, she's dressed up as a hooker? and turning tricks in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but okay, go on. Your point's well taken.
I began listening to you guys at episode 743, Misgendering. Wow, that's a long time ago. My weekly $4 subscription has kept me free from douchebagdom and should be completely affordable for everyone. Listening to this donation segment.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Can you read that last sentence again?
He says, my weekly $4 subscription has kept me free from douchebagdom and should be, uppercase, completely affordable for anyone listening to this donation segment. Dvorak.org.
So that's the $4 a week donation.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. That subscription and a few one-off donations have bought me a seat at the round table. I don't have any douchebag call-outs, just some people who are due for a chip-in. The Lux brothers, Mr. Cusis, the Shinones, and Baby Brett could all do more to produce the best podcast in the universe. I would like to be pronounsticated Sir Joseph of the HMS Pinafore. I'd like safe sex and commission checks at the round table. Yes, I shall add that for you. You have to bring your own safe sex partner, but we'll do all that, the rest for you. And while this size donation doesn't beget my own jingles, I desperately need a shot of double Trump jobs karma with a goat thrown in for house buying. The housing market is an absolute disaster right now, and if any producers need a software salesman who won't get triggered, look up Joe Arco on LinkedIn and get in touch. Thank you for your courage. Love and light, Sir Joseph of the HMS Pinafore. We might as well do that for him.
Jobs, jobs, jobs.
You've got karma.
I believe that's a new Trump's thing. You played it a little earlier with the applause in there.
Yeah, it should have been this
jobs,
one.
Jobs,
that one too.
One. That's the one I consider to be the Trump jobs.
Well, let me do it again then. Let me do it right then.
Jobs, jobs, jobs.
You've got karma.
Don't want to mess anything up.
Sir Borislav Marinov is in the House from Trabuco Canyon, California, 127. He needs some jobs karma. We'll put that.
And good health care karma. Yeah, we'll give that at the end.
Mark Fogwell in Strongsville, Ohio, 12659. He has some birthday shout-outs for his son, Eric. He says he's too cheap to donate. The son, I guess.
Disown
please
him.
De-douche him for his birthday.
No.
No.
You've been de-douched.
Aaron in Georgia wrote us a note, $110.20, and I read it. I hope you can read this cursive. It seems to be a lost art these days. She has really a very strong hand, as it were. I found you all. Oh, here we go. Here's a plug for a show that you were on. I found you all, or you all, from Adam's appearance on Tom Woods.
Oh, hey! We scored one. Way to go. Nice.
And I'm now donating for the first time. Please de-douche me.
You bet. Welcome.
You've been de-douched.
John, you got to get out there, man. It's working. You got to get out there. You got to get in some shows, bring in some people.
The primary reason I'm writing, she continues, is for karma. My husband is having trouble with some jealous peasants at work and may lose or quit his job as a result.
Oh, my.
This complicates our insurance situation. As I work for family, he will be considering self-employment, and I'm 5 months pregnant with our first human resource. Please send Trump jobs karma for my husband and goat karma for the kid, pun intended. Here's hoping for some blessings from the universe.
Yes, we'll add you to the list for the end of the segment. You bet, and your husband.
Dawa
Andela.
Dawa Andela in Martensdijk. $100. Martensdijk's in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Richard in Bonnyville, Alberta, Canada. 100. He mentions that here's $136 for the best podcast in the universe. I finally hit someone in the mouth. Now it's time to call out Drew Bernard as a douchebag.
I like how, have you noticed how many people will spell...
Can't spell douche?
Well, they're actually spelling it as deuce. A deuce bag, which is, I guess, a poop receptacle. It's also funny. Deuce bag.
Never heard of it.
No, it's new.
Dennis Beck in Rancho Cucamonga. Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga, $100. Lauren O'Hagan, 8888. Robert Vogel in Franklin, North Carolina, 87. Sir Carey's, they're supposed to be in... Oh, a kid's coming. Sir Carey, Sir Duke of Luna, His Grace Sir Kelvin McLaughlin in Locust, North Carolina, 87. Kevin Carlisle in Birmingham, Alabama, 87. Okay, these are the $87 donors. I'm just going to read their names and locations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On to Stephen Bottoms in Reno. Randy Filkins in Wellsburg, West Virginia. Carl Vogler in Dillon Beach, Canada. That's it. So this is our great gimmicky donation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. 7 people. That's all the number that cared at all about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oops. Well, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say either.
Yeah, I don't know. You haters. Just haters.
Sir Nathan Lee Miller Foster came with 8008 in Norwood, Massachusetts. Now, we got a complaint from someone whose note was not read in the last show. It came in late. And I don't see it here because it should be in 8008. I'm going to have to do some research, and you will be credited in the next show. I don't know what the hell, how this happened. It's not even possible.
Well, isn't it, what is this, Sir?
Somebody came here. Here's the story. I don't have his note in front of me because I thought it was just going to show up in the spreadsheet. He says, I donated late, like last show on Thursday. He came with a donation at 9 in the morning.
Okay.
On the show day.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't work. Yeah, we have to explain that doesn't work.
No.
It has to be the night before.
So I said, that doesn't work. You'll be in the next donation segment because you'll get bumped.
Right.
Because Eric's on the road, it's possible that he's got his timings wrong or his little crawler's not working, and you didn't get caught. You didn't catch you.
But here he has a birthday apparently.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's the same guy. I don't think it is. I don't remember it being this guy. But it was a night, so maybe you let it be presented on Jobs Karma. Well, is he on the birthday list?
No, I'm going to put him on. He's on the birthday list for the 22nd, so I will add him manually.
Maybe it was Sir Nathan Lee Miller Foster. But then all is well.
Everything's good. We're all taken care of. It's good.
And it's particularly good with Baron Mark Tanner, who came with 7654 from Whittier, California. Sir Rick in Arlington, Washington, 6996, and Sir Jim Zuckel in Beverly Hills, California, 6969. Dame Knight comes in from Edmonds, Washington, with a nice little card she sent in, as she does, with a happy birthday, Adam, 5656. Well, better late than sorry.
Yeah.
Dean Roker, 5510. Sir Andrew Benz in Imperial, Missouri, 5005. Now we have $50 donors, name and location. And there's more of them than there are well-wishers for Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, man, that's a failed vigil.
Such a disappointment.
It's a vigil in distress.
I expected to get at least 20 people. But no. John Short, meanwhile, 50. Sir Dodger of Panhandle in Pensacola, Florida. Patrick Nestor in Saint-Sauveur, Quebec.
Yes.
Adrian Muller in Atascadero. Thomas Tollett in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Lauren Witteveen. This goes to Tim W.'s dad's eventual knighthood. You keep the books. We're good with that. Baronet Eamon Fistbump in Montgomery, Texas, 50. Sir Andrew in Greensboro, North Carolina, 50. Samuel Brennan in Royersford, Pennsylvania. All the best. Robert Case in Mill Spring, North Carolina. We have lots of North Carolinians, and that's the last one, by the way. So that concludes our supporters and producers for show 1279. I want to thank each and every one of them and all those that came in with lesser amounts.
Yeah, and I think the North Carolinians is understandable, as we've got Dame Jennifer Is she in South Carolina or North Carolina?
I think she's in South
Carolina. Oh, isn't that close by?
Huge difference.
Isn't it close by? Isn't it next door?
One uses mustard in their barbecue sauce.
Oh, no. Oh, well, jeez. I don't know about that. Who uses that? The North or the South? That's probably the South.
No, the South Carolinians.
Yeah.
The North Carolinians have 4 distinctive barbecue sauces, none of which include mustard that I know of. I mean, things change.
Well, thank you all so much for your support of the show. It's the only way we will get it done. This is how it works. You listen to the show. If you get some value from it, whatever that is, you just write down that number and you send that off to us through one of our many interfaces. The one that is the most easy to remember because you can sing it is
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, thank you to everybody who came in under $50 for anonymity or on one of our many programs at Dvorak.org/NA. You can also sign up for one of those. And by request, we've got the good Trump jobs karma along with some healthcare karma.
Jobs.
There we go.
Jobs.
You've got karma.
It's your birthday. Oh, no agenda.
Well, for this 20th of September, 2020, we have more people on the birthday list than care about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Here we go. Lindsay Carson, happy birthday to her brother Dustin. He turned 36 2 days ago. Stephen Bartlemy, happy birthday to his dad Ed, who is celebrating today. Will from Seattle, happy birthday to his immaculately emulating wife. She is 35 today. Tiffany Dame, her son Vincent, says happy birthday to her son Vincent Dame of Tucson, 22 years old today. My sister-in-law, Tony Dockery, turns 46 today. Happy birthday. Jeffrey Weber celebrates tomorrow. Sir Nathan Lee Miller Foster, 36 on Tuesday. Baron Guy Boazzi, 46 on the 22nd. Mark Fogwell, happy birthday to his son Eric, celebrating on the 26th. Oh, and of course, also on Tuesday, our very own Buzzkill Jr. Happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
I think we have one. Yes, we do have changes. One title change today. We nailed it just in time. Maxine Waters Gravel becomes Baron of Greater Bunga Bungo Land. Hey now. Thank you very much for your support, Maxine Waters Gravel, a staple of the No Agenda show, and very important in the House of Representatives as well, of course. Then we have, we do have a couple of knights, no dames, but I'd like to get to them with a sword. Sword, you got a blade?
Oh, there you go.
What happened? Oops. Oh, stop. There we go. Up on the podium, please, Alex Travis, Moses, Jeffrey Weber, Matt Whiffen, and Joseph Arco. Gentlemen, all 5 of you are about to join the No Agenda Roundtable of the Knights and Dames, and I'm very, very proud to pronounce the KD as following: Sir Master of Darkness, Sir Moses, Knight of North Iowa Tundra, Sir Matt Whiffen, Knight of the Bumaris Bay and Greater Port Phillip Bay, and Sir Joseph of the HMS Pinafore. Gentlemen, for you, we've got hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay. We've got shepherd's pie, some snags thrown on the Barbie, and cheesemite scrolls, safe sex, and commission checks. We got some bong hits and bourbon, and of course we have the mutton and mead, which is what everybody likes. It's already kind of here at the round table. It's something we always have. Get your ring size, get your address. You already have your proof of purchase. Go over to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric DeSchill, even though he's on the road, will be taking care of business and making sure that you get your No Agenda Night ring, your seal. It's a signet ring, so you get the sealing wax and your official certificate ASAP. And thank you all for supporting the No Agenda Show, the best podcast in the universe.
No agenda.
Just like a party, everybody. We have a couple of meetup reports as they're happening all around Gitmo Nation, from coast to coast, all around the world, which can be seen from 1 million miles out by a satellite. And we start at the Springfield Super Spreader event.
Hi, this is Caleb Brinkman from the Springfield Super Spreader event.
I think he's doing a Jeff Begays just to please me.
Meetup in Springfield, Missouri. So we had 4 smoking hot people show up, and
they were on fire.
We would have had more if we had to change venue at the very last second. We had 10 people RSVP, and Bears just didn't have enough people, so we had to change it to the Flea. And I apologize if you didn't get that message, and we will make sure to have more room next time. And we are looking forward to see all of you at the October meetup.
And that'll be on the calendar at noagendameetups.com. Seattle, come in with your report.
In the morning, John and Adam. This is what remains of the Seward Park meetup in Seattle, Washington. Not a wisp of smoke in the sky. This is Cal officially no longer a douchebag with a donation of $6.66. Praise Satan.
ITM, this is Thomas.
Did he say praise Satan? Hold on a second.
A douchebag with a donation of $6.66. Praise Satan.
Oh, man.
ITM.
Subliminal messaging.
This is Thomas.
This is Patrick. We have talked about absolutely everything today, and we talked to somebody in Kenya.
This is Derek of Bellevue. I'm about $300 away from my knighthood, so I'll be expecting that ring very soon.
Thank you for your courage, and always, shut up, slave.
From Seattle, we go all the way to the other side of the world to Finland for the Gitmo Nation Reindeer meetup.
Hello, Adam and John. It's Sir Wonderhelm here at the Fat Lizard at the Finland meetup. I'm here with Sir Sami.
ITM, I'm Sir Sami, and I'm having great fun here at the first official Gitmo Nation Reindeer meetup. Thank you for your courage.
Indeed. We are not too many here, just 1.5 men and a horse's head, but we are having fun at the meetup, even though it's just the 2 of us. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
In the morning. 2, but 2 people does make a meetup. I love his Dutchism. Did you hear what he threw in there?
No.
1.5 man and a horse's head?
Yeah.
That's a Dutch saying. Anderhalf man en een paardenkop. I don't know where it comes from. It literally means that. Like there's no one there. A guy and a half and a horse head. I don't know where it comes from, but it's a very old saying. Yeah. We go over to the lowlands. We go from Finland to the lowlands. Gitmo Nation, Amsterdam. Come on in.
Good morning, this is Sir Hendrik, Knight of the Blank Saber in Amsterdam.
This is Andre, still inching my way towards Knight of the Empty PayPal account.
In the morning, Adam, thanks for keeping us sane. You're very welcome. It's an awkward terrace in Amsterdam, but people are great.
Thanks. This was Patrick.
In the morning, John and Adam, this is Jacqueline. This is my first meetup. Woo! It's very nice, thank you.
In the morning, guys, this is Sir Gerco, Knight of the PayPal Fiefdom of Utrecht, spotting the spook as usual.
This is Samuel. In the morning, John and Adam.
In the morning, Jeroen Jansen here at the vrijdagmiddagborrel in Amsterdam.
That's our group.
You know the guy that says, I'm looking out for the spook is the spook, right? It's always that guy.
That would be right, yes, generally.
Here's what's coming up for the next few days. You can find these great meetings. Meetups is what we call them. You can find it at noagendameetups.com. Everybody is welcome. It can be 2 people, it can be 20 people. It doesn't matter where you're coming from. You're all coming and are part of Gitmo Nation. It seems to work. People love hanging out, especially as most the people you know are too scared to go out and hang out and just be with other people and meet children from other lands. And on Tuesday, you can do that in Michigan at the local One Dinner. That'll be at 6 o'clock. That is on the corner of Sheldon and 5 Mile, the border of Plymouth and Northville. On Friday, the Kansas City Meetup Baby Night, Sir C-Mike edition. I think, is this C-Mike has a new kid or something? I know something's going on with it. I got to check the calendar. That's the 25th. On Saturday, September 26th, 203 Corridor, Monroe, Washington, Lake Ty. And that will be our Night of Twin Peaks, Sir Billy Bones, who was organizing that. Also on Saturday, Long Beach, California, Flight 007, Steelcraft City of Long Beach, north side of the venue, along Bixby Ave. Leo Bravo is your host. Also on Saturday, Local 404, Rona Recovery, Georgia style, 3:33 Eastern Time. Contact the organizer for all the details. His name is Mark Hansens, and you can find it at noagendameetups.com. Skipping ahead, we've got September 29th, that's Tuesday, the Bo Jiden Trump debate party. Oh, of course, a debate party. Dame Jamie hosting that, and that is in Monroe, Connecticut. Next Tuesday, 2020 back. Oh, yes, Eric the Shill is on the road and had a back office listening tour scheduled at Fort Collins, Colorado. That has been canceled. The message is problems on road trip. Sorry, all. Is he okay? I spoke to him the other day. Is he all right?
He's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Just keeps getting delayed for one reason or another.
Well, he's on the road with his kids, right?
Yeah.
Says it all.
The worst thing in the world.
Says it all. Right. What was he thinking? Did you not give him any advice about this?
He knows better.
On the
They're
horizon,
having a great time.
On the horizon, October 3rd, Washington County, Pennsylvania, New York City, the NAMU meetup number 4, Charleston, South Carolina on 7th of October, the St. Pete Beach Hurricane Rooftop meetup. Back office listening tour will be in Utah, and the 13th in Vegas. And looks like Vegas will be open as of October 1st. We have Dame Angela in Vegas working now with Patrick Coble from Tennessee and the Shill, and we're trying to get a big group together in a venue that fits us and will allow us to have what we need, which is, let's be honest about it, food and drink in Vegas. Stay tuned for that. Keep your eye on the noagendameetups.com calendar. And Pizza and Beer in Anaheim, California, 24th, and City of Tampa, Florida has a meetup. I'm sorry, that's Boston. Boston is on November 7th, and 6th is City of Tampa, Florida. And we have a promo, which we love so much.
Do you live in or near the low country of South Carolina and want to hang out with all the knights and dames where you won't be triggered or held to blame? Lucky you. We're having another meetup on Saturday, October 3rd, 4 p.m. at Holy City Brewing in North Charleston. I've heard your donations, but you still haven't joined us. Please go to noagendameetups.com and RSVP today. You won't be sorry. Despite the nature of this promo, nothing R-rated will occur at the meetup. They're all super family friendly. I promise. Just awkward clumsiness and alcohol-induced chatty Cathiness courtesy of me.
Dang, Jennifer.
The boing is nice.
I added that. She knows how to bring it, though, doesn't she? Fantastic. Yeah. That's it for you.
Better, actually.
Oh, we can open 800 lines with that girl. We can do stuff. That wraps it up for our meetups, and thank you all. We love your reports, love your promos, and it's a great part of the show. Very good, very healthy for your spirit, for your amygdala, all of that. Go to noagendameetups.com. If there isn't one there, start one yourself.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
It's like a party. Party. Woo! Okay.
All right.
I'm sure you have some fun stuff for us before we leave.
Well, here's an interesting Soros clip. I think this is from earlier this year, and it's not the same one you played, which was hard to understand, so it might be. But let's play Soros. This is interesting. And I think we may have played this before, but now in this moment in time, this is more interesting. Soros predicts landslide.
Clearly, I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world, but I regard it as a purely temporary phenomenon that will disappear in 2020 or even sooner. I give President Trump credit for motivating his core supporters brilliantly, but for every core supporter, he has created a greater number of core opponents who are equally strongly motivated. That's why I expect a Democratic landslide.
That was from show 1003, January 28th, 2018, when we picked it up originally.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I have a Soros clip that I can slide right into that. Let's see, where was it? Oh, yeah, so this kind of goes back to, this is a callback to the art with the Not Soros Fox logo, which goes back to the, was it Newt Gingrich who said, Soros is clearly funding these DAs and local elections.
Exactly.
And the two women on Fox were like deer in the headlights, couldn't talk about it. So who comes out and has to mention this? Of course, the guy who got canned, Bill O'Reilly, on his video podcast.
Yeah, I saw this. It's very funny.
Let's play it, see what Bill has to say.
There was something on Fox News yesterday with Newt Gingrich that got a lot of press. I'm not going to comment on the Fox News personnel there. I'm going to tell you the truth right now because Speaker Gingrich knows the truth. So George Soros has donated $17 million to county races to get far-left progressives into the district attorney's office. That is a fact. Right? $17 million. Now, these are county races. So that's an enormous amount of money. So Gingrich is absolutely correct. Absolutely right. Now, none of the people on the panel seem to understand what Gingrich is talking about. I think that's a fair assessment. But the rule is if you invoke the name George Soros, then you're anti-Semitic because Soros is Jewish. He's a secular Jew. He's not a practicing Jew. Not that it matters. So if you say the name George Soros, you are anti-Semitic. That's what the ladies were responding. Oh, we don't need to mention George Soros. We don't want to be accused of being anti-Semitic. So why are they buying into that? This is a factual story. George Soros is using his billions of dollars to undermine the justice system in the United States, in my opinion, and in Newt Gingrich's opinion. And we have our stats to back it up. And you can't discuss that? Something really, really wrong going on.
Why did he leave it like that? What is his point? So he said, okay, it's anti-Semitic, and why is that?
A couple
Something
of
really, really wrong.
Something with the really, really wrong is that at the very beginning, he tips his, you can't, this is annoying. He won't, I think he's under non-disclosure.
Yeah, he must be.
They gave
for
him
that
a pot
kind
full
of money
to quit Fox.
Yeah, must be.
And so he can't say things. So if you listen, just play the very beginning of this clip again, and you'll hear it. Just play the very beginning and stop it.
Okay.
And this is the problem that he has.
There was something on Fox News yesterday.
That part or further?
Further.
With Newt Gingrich that got a lot of press. I'm not going to comment on the Fox News personnel there.
Oh,
I'm going to tell you the truth.
There it is. Because that's line 3 of the non-disclosure. Yeah, not allowed to talk about the personnel.
So he's got a non-disparagement clause in this money-making deal that he signed.
Mm-hmm.
Very common. And he wants to say something, but now it's hampering his reporting. This is the problem that everybody has in the media. I mean, in the mainstream media, and Fox is part of that, is that they sign their rights away, and they're supposed to be reporters. Reporters should never sign, I would say, an NDA. Tech guys used to do it all the time. I never did. I would sign an NDA if it had something to do with my going to work for somebody.
Right.
But I wouldn't be going around as somebody writing about tech signing NDAs. I just said no. I'll sign off on an embargo.
Right.
Which is different than an NDA. And I'll agree to that. I don't care because I'm usually not that topical anyway or timely. But I'm not signing anything, and I never did.
Do you know of anyone who has ever been sued for breaking their tech NDA?
No.
I don't either.
But generally speaking, if you are sued, you are gagged, so you can't talk about if you were. So we don't know for sure.
Right.
But the whole thing, O'Reilly's sitting there, he would be sued for sure, because we're not talking about some jerk like me that just, gets a few bucks and I'm on my way. You're talking about somebody who's been given millions of dollars to quit the company and then shut up about it.
Right. Yeah.
But meanwhile, he's useless now.
No,
you're going to talk about Fox at all?
Nah, he's kind of useless. Hey, the ratings came out for the American Country Music or Academy of Country Music Awards.
Oh, yes.
On CBS. Yes. Well, it was down yet even more from its all-time low. Its all-time low was last year, and they had a 1.4 share, which is about just about 9 million viewers. This year, without an audience, with 1,000 points of light and the cameramen all masked up, they got a 1 share in the demographic, in the 1819 and 1849 demographic. 6.5 million viewers, which is atrocious. But here's the crazy thing: it was number 1 for the evening in the ratings. It beat out America's Got Talent with 5 million viewers.
Which also has no audience.
Yeah, exactly. There's something about an audience. Sports doesn't work. The music shows don't work.
Well, like I said, I watched a few minutes of the show and I turned it off. And I think, to be honest about it, I ended up watching Murder, She Wrote, or one of the, where you get, if you get over-the-air TV, there are about 95 to 110 channels.
Yeah, it's quite a lot
and
of fun
most of them are old television. And to be honest about it, I'm getting more information, especially for this show, from old Dick Cavett shows
yes.
from I guess it's the late 70s.
Yeah.
Than I am from it. I mean, if I'm switching around, there's an old Dick Cavett show and he's talking to somebody. These old timers that he's talking to, they're been dead for years, who have opinions about things, and listening to his discussions is fascinating. It's much more interesting than America's Got Talent. And there's other stuff too. Hogan's Heroes. They're playing all these reruns. One of the greatest comedies
stuff.
ever put on television.
TV Land in the evening has King of Queens and 2.5 Men. And both of those shows are so politically incorrect by today's standards. I love it. You just go, oh, I love that. Just thank oh man, that's totally gay. That's Doug Heffernan saying that. It's like, can you imagine that being said? And why is it still allowed? Right. Why is it still allowed?
I believe that that people are getting a clue by watching if they have over the air, you have to have an antenna.
Well, this is on cable. TV Land is on cable.
Yeah, okay. Well, they don't have the number of shows that are not on cable that are over the air are phenomenal.
Right. Yeah, because you're going to get older stuff for that.
And Antenna, for example, plays Carson.
Oh, wow.
So you have the old, you have the Carson show.
Cool.
Far out. You have the Carson show from watching Carson and these dead people talking to each other.
Yeah.
And it's extremely politically incorrect. It's got material that you'd never hear anymore.
And they're smoking.
Yes.
They're smoking. I saw Dick Cavett with Orson Welles. Was it Dick Cavett? No. Would it have been Dick Cavett?
It would be Dick Cavett. Dick Cavett would have.
No. Who was before that? Who was the first? Who was Orson Welles? I thought it was Dick Cavett and Orson Welles.
Well, there was a Dick Cavett Orson Welles show.
Yeah, and they're smoking cigars and.
Well, Dick Cavett never smoked.
Yeah, Orson Welles is smoking up a storm.
He would. I remember one show where they had a whole bunch of old timers, including Lauren Bacall, and she was older. She was on the Dick Cavett show, and she's smoking up a storm. And she's got a gravelly voice. She sounds like Thelma and Patty of the Simpsons with that rah rah. And all she's doing is grousing about the politics and the fact that there's too much juvenile delinquency, and she's
really.
It's I'm telling you, much better than the modern programming.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Look at the TV shows. Saturday Night Live sucks without an audience. And it's just it's not meant for this, and they can't do it without. And by the way, audiences. If you're now invited, I think, personally, you should not go to a football game and pay hundreds of dollars. They should be paying you.
Exactly.
They should be paying you. They should be paying you. Do you want to go to the Tonight Show audience? You stand in line like a fool? No. You go stand there and say, look at me. Am I pretty? Do you want me? No. Oh, you want me? Okay, pay me. We can turn this around. I really think we can.
You start with low and bid it up. I have a clip, one last clip for me.
All right.
That has just had a little tidbit in here, which no one's just discussing this at all. They're talking about all kinds of things, but no one talks about this little this was in Davos, Cape Town. This just took place. They've spread Davos all over the place.
This is like a summer Davos or something?
I don't know what the hell it is. But this is in Davos, and there's a little tidbit on the population of Africa that's in this meeting. It's a 26-second clip. It's right in the middle of it. I could have stopped it there. But they're selling the Africans on the idea of big data. And this is what this. Are
they falling for it?
Oh yeah, this is what this this meeting was about. But let's play this clip.
To our viewers watching us from home, we're coming to you from the most visited city in Africa, Cape Town. My name is Edith Kimani. Now, according to UN figures, by the year 2050, every 2 out of 4 people will be African. Now, that's quite staggering when you think about it.
Wow.
Does that then mean that if the population is going to quadruple here, that our data will also quadruple? And what does that mean for the future of data on the continent?
And it goes into a bogus discussion.
I think it's probably exponential, not just triple. It'd be much more.
No, it's pretty high population now. But the fact that the way that she puts it, 2 out of 4, that's 50%. I would have said 50%, or half the world's population is going to be African.
Right.
I was unaware of this.
Well, she did say...
I should have been aware of it, it seems to me. I should have known this.
She did say it without evidence.
Oh, I'm sure that Davos, they're nothing but evidence-based.
Yeah, the same guys who told us that this was all good, and the same guys who are saying that we have to reach our global goals. I don't put too much trust in those guys.
Well, I'll bet you this number's right.
No, not a bet I'm willing to take. Can I just have one? I know we have the Yes ISO. I like it a lot. I just remembered I had one. I want you to listen. Tell me if we should replace or just keep it or get rid of it. Ready? It's Trump. It's always funny.
Anybody have any white? Do you have any white stuff?
Yeah, you can get rid of it. Do you have any white stuff? Is not. I don't know. I don't think it's as punchy.
Okay, we got the yes, and
it's also better for the end of the show, as though we did a great show.
We need. Well, coming up on NoAgendaStream.com, we have Grumpy Old Ben's. That's NoAgendaStream.com. End of show mixes. Let me see. I'm going to blow out the whole cache today. Jimmy of the Flatlanders. We got a guy named McMuffin. No, I'm sorry. We got Jesse Coy Nelson. The Wars and More podcast in a mix for us. Fletcher and John Benson. All of that. 5 beautiful end of show mixes. You will enjoy that for sure. Coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the capital of the Drone Star State, Austin, Texas. We are FEMA region number 6 on all governmental maps. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the winds died down, I don't see the smoke. They claim it's here, but I'm not seeing it. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday right here on No Agenda. Please remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. We look forward to seeing you then. Until then, adios, mofos! And such.
Progressive district attorneys are anti-police, pro-criminal, and overwhelmingly elected with George Soros's money, and they're a major cause of the violence we're seeing.
I'm not sure we need to bring George Soros into this.
He amassed billions through ruthless business decisions.
I am basically there to make money.
He can move world financial markets simply by voicing an opinion.
I cannot and do not look at the social consequences.
Or destabilize a government by buying and selling its currency.
I am a player. This man is a carnivore of the first order.
What you're doing is asking some form of regulation to protect the world against you.
When Trump oversteps the mark, and he would be dictator if he could get away with it.
The markets for the moment seem to be behind Donald Trump. It lost you a lot of money. What are they seeing?
Well, they are facing a really unique victory because they are in control of the presidency of effective Congress and
Adam, drop a beat. Go.
Under my administration, no make $400,000. Not a joke. As president of the United States, I'm not going to punish anybody. But guess what? No make under $400,000, which is going to have to pay more taxes. Okay. Come on, man. You have 19 corporations making billions of dollars each. There's more money than I've ever made. Build back better. It's real. Taxpayers' money, taxpayers' dollars. Build back better. Okay. Taxpayers' money, taxpayers' dollars. Build back better. Okay. Under my administration. Build back better. Oh, man. As president of the United States. Under my administration. There's more money than I've ever made. Not a joke. Not a joke. But guess what? We need to improve our bridges, our roads. Not a joke. Spending federal money in a position where, there's no reason why, as President of the United States, you have control of a significant budget of taxpayers' money, taxpayers' dollars, where you're spending federal money. Look, not one penny. Not a joke. You have control. Taxes will be all made in America. Not a joke. But guess what? Come on, man.
I just need to tell you, because you're my friend. No one else listens to me, Joe. You, my friend, are one funny motherfucker.
You're beautiful, too. I'm sure you're a good guy. Your wife's hot. Congratulations. I'm a supporter of human beings. You're still handsome.
Come on, man. I did a Joe Biden. Look. Are you doing the work, Joe Rogan?
I'm a supporter of human beings. I'm a sucker. Okay, I'm a sucker for America. I love America. Fuck yeah! I'm gonna stop at McDonald's and eat 3 fillet of fish like a fucking wolf. Isn't it crazy?
Every man has a little bit of that in him. America, baby.
He's a savage. Stop! Stop it! Stop! Stop! Can we pause on this? I gotta pee so bad.
Okay, well, that's just fucking ridiculous. You got to stop that shit.
How do we do that, Adam Curry?
By doing this podcast, Joe Rogan. Yeah.
You need to pee?
Yes.
Let's do that.
All right. We are the world. We are the children. We're going to make that shit happen. That's totally cool.
Fucking America! I remember being on mushrooms once.
It gets better, Joe.
That's a bad motherfucker who knows how to tie good knots. Do you know why we do that?
All right. I'm ready for your whopper now.
Fires are blazing so brightly. Fires are blazing so brightly.
I don't understand it.
Smoke reaching so far. Smoke reaching so far.
You're nuts. You're nuts. You're nuts. You're nuts.
NASA satellites can see them. 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 1 million miles away in space.
1 million miles in space.
That are 1 million miles away.
Arctic is literally melting. Parts are actually on fire.
Can we at least agree that directed energy weapons are a thing?
I didn't think that was a new thing.
were falling for a setup.
The best podcast in the universe.
Mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
Yes, yes, yes.
You are listening to NoAgendaStream.com, the best source of music, talk, and infotainment in the universe. NoAgendaStream.com. Up next, Hookers and Blow.
It's so critically important that that update be pushed out immediately to everybody's device, whether they need a reboot or not.
Hello and welcome to episode number 95 of Grumpy Old Ben's for Friday, September 18th, 2020. I am Darren O'Neill coming to you live from a bunker deep in the heart of Middle America, just outside of Chirac, where the weather is nice and cool, but PayPal kept crashing my machine.
And from America's left coast, where the temperature is dropping, the leaves are turning colors, and the politicians are back to whining about climate change. I'm Ryan Bemrose.
Oh, we're back to that now from rioting?
Yeah, we're going back to normal.
No more police brutality. The climate's our enemy again.
Well, I'm sure that'll pop up again, but it's actually a good sign. It's like the fresh shoots in the spring where you're like, okay, everything, nature's returning to normal. When the politicians stop whining about racism or coronavirus and starts whining about the kind of things they whined about in previous years, you should be happy about that.
They're bringing it back to where the baseline. Is that kind of it?
Either that or they're just going back to the well.
Well, that could be too.
I mean, the local dictator here did run a completely unsuccessful presidential campaign on a single issue of climate change.
And how did that work out for him?
Well, he's now referencing that when he goes and points out that all of these fires that are going on, which coincidentally happen to be about every quarter mile right along the interstate, are totally caused by climate change and not by arsonists.
Right, even though they've, caught arsonists.
Yes. Believe it or not, the wildfires happen every freaking year around this time of year in the Western US. It is a thing that happens. The severity of the fires is a direct result of how badly mismanaged the forests are and whether or not people are allowed to do any kind of controlled burns anymore. Hint, in California, not at all. In Washington and Oregon, it's really difficult because, did you know if you want to do a controlled burn, you have to file an environmental impact report and give everybody 30 days to comment and on whether or not they think that it's a good idea for the environment before you can do a controlled burn.
You mean
makes
to protect?
Total sense obviously, the moment that you file these reports, then somebody is going to sue saying, I don't want a controlled burn within 10 miles of my property. I might inhale a smoke particle. And so forest management these days is just uncontrolled burns where you wait until a day when the wind is really good and whipping and then something starts fires. Normally that something is lightning. That's pretty much the primary cause. It's what caused most of the fires in previous years. I have every reason to believe it's what caused most of the fires this year. But they are being helped by added fires by arsonists. I don't think there's any way to deny that unless you're Facebook. But that's, the uncontrolled fires tend to level houses. And if you've seen those pictures from the towns in Southern Oregon where the whole fucking town has just been erased from the map.
Yeah, I don't get it. How do you not understand that you need to do the small ones? You have to keep this thing, you have to keep the areas free of the brush in order not to have the major fires. How is this lost on people? Or is it really to the point where they would rather see it burned?
It's lost on people because of fantastic censorship efforts by groups like Facebook. I actually don't have much on the Facebook story, but I have a story and I have a quote because this quote bothered me. It made me grumpy. Let's see. Facebook is, quote, Removing false claims the wildfires in Oregon were started by certain groups. This is based on confirmation from law enforcement that these rumors are forcing local fire and police agencies to divert resources from fighting the fires and protecting the public. This is consistent with our past efforts to remove content that could lead to imminent harm given the possible risk to human life as the fires rage on. So now accusing Antifa of starting fires and maybe even warning people about arsonists will imminently threaten human life, according to Facebook.
Well, Antifa isn't actually a group. It's just an ideology.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's also, I guess anything saying that Antifa is a group is also banned on Facebook. And the number of people out there whose only interaction with other human beings this year especially is Facebook are doomed to be woefully uninformed, because that site is a steaming pile. It does make sense, by the way, that there is some basis in the idea that if you are starting incorrect rumors all over the place about arson, you're going to stretch local authorities pretty thin, but don't do that. If you are telling legitimate rumors about some dude who was caught on your property with matches and you held him at gunpoint until the cops showed up, that's the kind of thing that gets banned off Facebook now.
Well, it is. It's censorship.
No social media.
It's the thing that, the Tucker Carlson had the scientist. She wasn't a doctor, right? The scientist, or was she a doctor also, that came from China because she said this was a virus that originated in a lab that got out. And of course, that's all being taken down. Anything, as we've talked about, that doesn't go right down the line of what the WHO says is good will be removed, even if it is now a Dr. Atlas, a guy that is one of the advisors to the president. Things that he's saying are being taken down. This is getting very scary, that the amount of censorship that is out there. And I don't get it. I really don't understand I do. I understand what happened to the media. It's become overrun by activists and people that aren't really into getting you the correct story or the facts.
Yeah. And people who have been brainwashed by years of critical race theory training. I don't blame everybody for I can blame people for being stupid, but it's what people do. It's like blaming a cat for being furry. But yeah, okay. Lots of people coming out and joining the ranks of these businesses are completely retarded, and I can blame them for not doing any critical thinking. But at the same time, nobody's taught them critical thinking. We've only taught them critical race theory.
Yes. And you're right. It's like the Dilbert comic strip that I sent you the other day that was from like a year ago, which was Dogbert, the little evil dog that said, "Oh, I decided I'm going to start my own podcast, and the biggest audience is dumb people, so I'm going to go after them." And then Dilbert asks him the question, "Well, how is your podcast going to make the world better?" And Dogbert responds with, "I can tell by your question that you're really going to enjoy my podcast."
Yep. The last thing I have on it is I was going to read a post that I ended up sending it during the No Agenda show yesterday, which may have got it drowned out, but it was the thing that I thought of when reading this Facebook story where they were censoring more and more things. And the line is, Facebook and Twitter have become so transparent and consistent with their blatant political bias that censorship of any anti-left story may now be taken as proof of the veracity of that story. And I don't know if that follows is logically solid, but it intuitively makes sense anymore.
Well, it is a very interesting thing and a very interesting problem that I don't think anybody really saw coming, 20 or 30 years ago, was that we would eventually get to a point where a vast majority of our communications, are controlled by private parties censorship when it comes to a government, it's pretty easy to get a handle on that. When it's
you file a First Amendment lawsuit because they're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, private parties are. And that's where the things really start going down that proverbial slippery slope, because it's well within Facebook's right, if they want, to go, we're just going to not allow any right-wing content. Of course, then they lose some protections because they're obviously then a publisher, not a third-party site that's just there to allow people the opportunity to communicate. But this is where the internet's going. And we knew it was coming with the bullying stuff, because that was first and foremost the first little prong of this, which was, oh, we have to protect the children. We don't want them to be bullied, do we? I mean, so we have to do something.
Won't somebody please think of the children?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And this is just like naming your organization Black Lives Matter or naming something the Patriot Act. It is put out there in such a way where it's like, well, you can't be against this. This is such a good thing. Of course, if you say you're against Black Lives Matter, you're a racist.
The joke's on you. I've hated all people since way before you said it was cool.
It works better that way, I think. But
it's just easier. It's a more logically consistent position.
These social media networks, again, this is why we did our first real episode on these things, because we saw this coming a year and a half ago. It was already well along the route to where it is now. And it's just sped up quite a bit, because I don't even think we predicted this a year and a half ago that it would get to this point. It was more like, hey, you know what? We're going down this road. And if this continues, but this is kind of like we got there immediately. And the Orange Man bad, Trump derangement, it's all a part of it.
I don't need to know the final destination to know that the road that we're on is not going anywhere good.
And it's interesting to watch this stuff. And technology doesn't always work. My little intro blurb, before we get too far from the start of the show, I go to look at the PayPal account on days that we do a show, because that's how we get a majority of the people that want to donate to the show. And we appreciate that. We get the donations in through PayPal. So I rebooted my computer, as I usually do in the morning. And I did have a bunch.
Sorry, that must have been traumatic.
It is. It's very traumatic. But I had a bunch of stuff that needed to be unzipped and unrarred, because, I download like 60 gig of music a day. So there's always a bunch of stuff. So I started that up. I started something else up. I went to the PayPal page, hit login, and the computer just froze. Everything went black. The monitors went black. No blue screen of death, but
your browser's not supposed to be able to do that.
I know. So this is my question to you and the other coders out there. I mean, Cold Acid, we're looking at you. We know you know what you're doing with this stuff. And I rebooted the computer and didn't do anything else this time. So I'm like, okay, let's see if we can figure out exactly what this is. And I went back to the PayPal main page in Brave. This is my main driver. So I've been Brave. I go in, the PayPal main page loads up fine again. The minute I hit login, the little button, boom, same thing. Computer freezes. The mouse stops moving. Everything just goes black. No blue screen.
You've got malware on your computer.
No, I don't believe that's the case.
No, you admitted to having Windows.
Well, yes, there is that. So then I decided to test this. I went and rebooted the computer again, and then moved on to Firefox. Opened up the PayPal homepage. Fine. Hit the little login button. Boom. Computer dies. And I know.
That's weird.
It is very weird. So I rebooted again. I went into Microsoft Edge. Boom. It didn't crash the computer. I'm like, okay, maybe this is a sign.
Told you. It's Microsoft.
It may be. But then I went back to Brave and I went back to Firefox and it opened fine then. So I don't know if momentarily that the PayPal site had been owned in one way, shape, or form. I don't know. I didn't have time to look into whether their button to log in was simply a link to their login page or if there's some kind of JavaScript or some kind of scripting going on. But it happened 3 or 4 times in different browsers that I'd go to the PayPal homepage. The homepage would load up fine. The minute you would hit the little button that said login, boom, computer crapped out.
So first of all, allow me to dispel at least one of your theories. JavaScript is not supposed to be able to do this. And I don't know that there's any browser maker out there that would have the lockup system command in response to, would expose that to the, I mean, that doesn't sound like the kind of thing that any browser maker would want to expose. So I'm feeling like there was something already on your system that is, in collusion with, and I say that it's just interacting with, not necessarily malicious.
Right.
It sounds like, And now I'm totally spitballing because I know nothing other than just you've piqued my interest. And as a software tester, I'm going to throw out things that I would want to mess with if I cared to actually solve this issue, which I don't, because frankly, I'd rather make fun of you for it. But it sounds like some kind of authentication library is being launched, which is either, it has been, it's probably launching some DLL for authentication. And I'm not sure exactly what the scenario is, but once it's launching some local code, either that thing is damaged, has been replaced by malware. Maybe it doesn't seem likely. You're not dumb enough to download all the dancing monkeys all the time. But it's going in and the other possibility. And we've talked about the add-on Intel chips, which are all black boxes and giant security vulnerability factories.
Right.
And a lot of the secure, quote unquote secure chips, because a lot of them have names like secure, because as black boxes, the very first default that they always get is they start out as people don't know how to code against them, and therefore that increases security. But eventually somebody figures out how to code against them, and there's still no documentation. So now you can't protect against those vulnerabilities. So they end up being worse in the long run. But if somebody is come up with, if some bit of malware from all the things you've been downloading has gone in and injected a bit of weirdness into one of those chips, then maybe that code is, and it doesn't have to be something malicious. It could easily be a 10 go to 10 type of thing, which just locks up a CPU. And, if you're doing that in low enough level code, it'll fuck up your whole program. But yeah, it was weird.
Odd. Yeah, we'll have to look at the logs and see. And I guess it's also possible that once I loaded this up in the Edge browser, that it did something that cleared whatever it was out, and then the other browsers start going fine. Because I'm like, well,
that was one of the clues, by the way, is if a particularly broken bit of code got wedged into one of the weird deep security coprocessors, then everything that called into that would end up launching that code if they were relying on a third-party vendor. But Microsoft, they're probably the only ones who have the Intel instruction manual how to do this, because the OS is supposed to write it, and Edge, being pseudo part of the OS, probably just pushed a fresh bit of authentication code out to that location, and thus fixed it by wiping out the broken code.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing I found the most odd, was the fact, not that it happened, because this kind of stuff happens all the time.
You just break shit.
Yeah. And
computers are failing around you left and right.
Pretty much. But when you when you go from Brave, which is Chromium based, to Firefox, which isn't, then you shouldn't get the same results, would be
the exact same results usually means they're running the same code, which is why I'm thinking this was an OS service of some kind.
You're right, Harry Hamster. It is time to upgrade. This computer's about 3 years old. So if you could donate like $1,800, I can buy a new one.
Can we upgrade to Windows 11 and get rid of this whole 10 bullshit?
I don't think Windows 11 is out yet.
I don't think Windows 11 is ever coming out.
Maybe it's could be one of these things, kind of like with Apple. They just keep releasing updates to the one and just giving it new names, and that's fine.
Well, that's why they settled on Windows 10 for their permanent version, is because that's what Apple did with Mac OS.
Yeah.
They were like OS X 10, 10.1, 10.2. What are they up to? Like 10.300 now?
But it's 10 because it's a perfect 10.
Yeah.
Marketing, baby. No question about it. So yeah.
Although I've never quite understood. Maybe I haven't paid enough attention to Apple's marketing. Is it supposed to be OS 10 or OS X?
I think 10.
I think I don't care.
But you asked.
I know.
It's just Roman numerals. They're just cool. Yeah. They're being hip. Quick, going back to those ancient numerals.
Yeah. Roman numerals were cool before numbers were cool.
Yeah, they were.
The hipster of numbers.
Nice. But, there is some actual tech news going on in the world, and we'll talk about that. Yes.
Despite our best efforts.
There is some stuff going on in the political vein. And when it comes, talking about the censorship, the weirdest thing I've seen on any major news network, it was covered on No Agenda yesterday. It's been covered on everybody's news. Bill O'Reilly covered it. It's been on every major website that I've looked at.
So you're feeling like jumping on the bandwagon?
Yeah. Well, it just seemed to be the most egregious example of everything that we've been talking about for the last year and a half when it comes to the media. And it's what No Agenda's been doing now for 10, 11, 12 years, which is, did you see the video or at least hear the clip of Newt Gingrich on Fox News talking about the rioting?
I actually don't recall that.
Well, this was great because he was on
No Agenda yesterday.
He was.
Maybe if you hum a few bars.
He was talking about how the problem was in the district attorneys, which we've talked about.
Yeah, we've known that.
And how all these people have been funded to get them into office and then be weak on crime. And you know who funded them, correct?
I've heard rumors. I don't know that we say, do we say that name on this show?
We do.
Okay, then Soros.
That's what he said. And the Fox host, there was another woman on as well. So it was their usual, they never have one guest on at a time. But he says George Soros funded this, this, and this. And she literally came back with, I don't think we need to bring George Soros into this.
Well, I'd like George Soros to butt out of this.
I mean, literally. And Newt Gingrich was like, what are you talking about? I mean, he funded this. Why can't we talk about this? And then the other woman that was on was like, yeah, I don't think we need to bring George Soros into this. It's like, and then there was the oddest thing out of the whole thing is there was silence for seconds with nobody talking. This was how much of a breakdown this was, because Newt Gingrich was just kind of like, screw you guys, without saying screw you guys. And it was the weirdest thing I've seen. And it goes along. Adam Curry was the first guy I remember hearing this from a couple of years ago, which is the Fox News today is no longer the conservative network. They're anything but.
It was in the 2012 election that either Adam or John, but they made the bold statement at the time that has proven to be pretty damn close to true if you really pay attention, that Fox News is run by Democrats.
Uh-huh.
And at the time, the rationale, and the one that I used on a lot of people before, because, you say Fox News is run by Democrats and people will just fucking scoff at you. And the rationale that's actually pretty much worked with every single person I've ever tried to convince of this is, well, the rationale I always used is they claim to be Republican, but you have to admit they are completely ridiculous. And if the Republicans are smart, they would never let somebody that stupid represent them. Therefore, it's actually the Democrats trying to make the Republicans look stupid. And most people buy that explanation. I'm not even sure that's true anymore, but I always liked it.
Yeah, and talk about being able to influence an election. There are a couple of conservatives still on the network, including Sean Hannity, who is a big time right wing opinion guy, but the rest of the coverage is going left.
Well, and also seeing how the only Murdochs left owning the company are all leftists. I can't imagine how Fox News could possibly remain far right wing regardless. I mean, they make a crap ton of money pandering to far right wing people, but at some point, the people at the top, with Rupert gone, there really aren't a lot of conservatives in that family anymore. They're at some point they're going to be like, yeah, we'd really like you to tone down the anti-Biden rhetoric because we like the guy, and he gives us the legislation we like when we donate to his campaign. So can you just kind of ixnay on the Idenbay?
Right. And Biden last night had a town hall, if you can really call it that. And this came together in a very weird way. I know you listen to Random Thoughts. You know a little bit about this already.
I try not to.
And
I was not watching Biden last night. I was listening to John and Carolyn and Phone Boy on a much better show.
I was watching Steven Crowder cover the Biden thing, which was hilarious in its own right. But the town hall, Trump had one on ABC with George Stephanopoulos, I think, on Monday. And of course, Stephanopoulos would not let him talk. He would interrupt him. He was instantly fact checking him. And Trump still did his bit.
So like what I do with you.
Kind of. And Trump did his bit, though. He went out there and he took the questions and he took it, and he didn't come off looking great, but he was in a very hostile audience. There's no question about it. Now, ABC offered the same thing to Joe Biden, and his people came back with, no, we're too busy. We can't find time. It's like, who can't find
because
time?
They know that if you ever put Biden out in front of all of the core Democrat support, not the far left ones or the always blue no matter who people, but the core of the group, which are the ones who have to be convinced every time. If they ever put Biden on a microphone in front of those people, if Biden supporters ever hear Biden actually talk, they'd be like, oh, this is who we're right. And a lot of them, of course, will hold their nose and be like, yeah, but he's not Trump, which is the only qualification he has. But man, he can do nothing but lose votes by actually opening his mouth.
Well, which is why I don't think it takes a genius to figure out he wouldn't find the time for ABC, but all of a sudden, a very hastily thrown together town hall with CNN last night. And if you remember, it was CNN and was it Donna Brazil that admitted giving Hillary Clinton the questions before the town hall when I
do remember this. Yes.
When she was going up against Trump. So now you have to ask the question, is the reason Biden won't do a town hall with ABC, maybe ABC still has some journalistic integrity, maybe a little, and chooses.
It's hard to believe, but let's go ahead and entertain it for this story.
Yeah. And also we know CNN is a cable network who has a much smaller reach than ABC.
Fucking tabloid.
ABC is still a national network that everybody gets. I mean, even if you don't have cable, most people get ABC over the air. So why would you not go do it on ABC, but you'll run to CNN? And the other weird thing that was pointed out by Steven Crowder was this whole thing was said to have been pre-recorded because God forbid you put Biden on the air live. And I don't know if it was or wasn't. But
no, his puppeteers can't react to live questions that quickly. They have to know what he's going to say ahead of time.
They need more practice. There's no question about it. But according to everybody, that this was supposed to be pre-recorded, but when they were running it last night on CNN, they used the live tag. I mean, we've all seen live newscasts. You have the little thing that says live, so we know that it's live. But really, was it? I mean, if it was pre-recorded, I mean, I know it was live when they recorded it, but there's a question there too.
Calling a post-mortem reanimation of Joe Biden live is probably number 57 on the list of terrible lies that CNN told during a 10-minute period yesterday.
Yeah, and Biden didn't do horribly, but if this can be explained away by the fact he had the questions, and he was misspeaking a lot. Like, for instance, when instead of saying China, he said kinda and didn't catch it. And that's fine. I mean, I get it. He's getting old, and I'll give him a little bit of leeway there. But he has a hard time keeping a train of thought.
I'll give him sympathy for getting old, but he gets no leeway because the dude is still running for president.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but it would really help to have somebody as a president who has a fucking brain in their head. Or working. And I understand, Biden has a long and distinguished career of being a corrupt politician. And yes, okay, he gets our sympathy now because he's suffering dementia, but that doesn't excuse the fact that either he has been a corrupt person for decades, even when he had a working brain, and also is purporting to become the president of the United States, a job which can't actually be done by a vegetable.
Are you sure? I mean, arugula might have a better chance than Biden.
I mean, even Biden is calling it the Harris administration.
Yes.
It is guaranteed sometime in October that Biden is going to be forced to bow out of the race for medical reasons or something. Somebody's probably going to do an exam and be like, actually, his mind is going or something, some excuse. The best excuse is the ones that happen to be true.
Right.
But at some point, right before the election, Biden is going to bow out, either that or right after the election.
I think it has to be right after. I think before
it becomes the Harris administration.
Well, she called it the Harris administration. He called it the Harris administration. That's what, John and Adam on No Agenda always say, the truth wants to come out when these little slip ups, when people make these little mistakes. And that may be the case here. This may be the plan that is in the bag, which is, well, we know because
if only.
You're right. Well, we know Kamala, when it was primary time, when she was fighting with Biden and the rest, I mean, she only got like 2 or 3% support. But if this is the person they want in the office, this is the way to do the end run around the American people.
Of course they do. For all of the people who thought that Harris was terrible, they'd be like, well, we tried to get Biden. And for all of the people who they don't really care about issues or whether or not the person can speak, and they only care about skin color and gender, then Harris is perfect. Besides, I mean, she, had that surgery to make her suddenly black when she was Indian before.
Yeah, well, there's a little, there's a lot of questions about her family, owning slaves. I mean, how does the ADOS folks want to vote for a woman whose grandmother owned slaves? But that's another story, I suppose.
I can't fault her for that. I can fault her for owning 45 million slaves in the state of California.
Well, I agree. But normal, rational people aren't going to blame your ancestors for what they did, but that's what her folks are doing. So, I mean, her, that's her base.
And they're wrong, and I'm not going to stoop to that level.
Well, right.
Yeah. Every human being has both slaves and slave owners in their ancestry somewhere, and it is intellectually disingenuous and dishonest to be cherry picking one particular time period in order to decide that one group is oppressed and one group isn't oppressed. But at the same time, that's what cultural Marxism is about. That's what critical race theory is about, is intellectual dishonesty combined with appeals to emotion and making sure to stoke both fear, shame, and outrage all at the same time for your political ends. Congratulations.
Well, and in most elections, though, nobody gives a crap about who's running for vice president. In this election, it's vital. It really is. Because
is Pence really that vital?
No, but Kamala is, because that's who you're really voting for. And I don't know if
I'm not.
I don't know if that's who that party is voting for. And I would think we'll be seeing this in ads, although those will all be tagged by social media that no, Biden's really they're going to be the president. No, this concept that Kamala's going to just take over the role, that's crap. Even though you have both of them calling it the Harris Organization, that'd be some great commercial stuff.
Worry not. If anything breaks about this, you can be assured that Facebook will go ahead and censor it to make sure that the narrative fits.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, we talked about the group of people that Facebook put together in order to decide what should and shouldn't be allowed and what should and shouldn't be censored. I mean, show me one conservative in the group. Come on.
They put together an incredibly diverse panel from people of all race, ethnicity, gender across the entire left side of the spectrum.
I will really be interested once this thing is all said and done to see who Black men voted for. I think this is going to be an interesting election when it comes to that demographic.
If they don't vote for Biden, they ain't black.
Well, that's what he said.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did say that.
But
he literally, just in case anybody out here doesn't realize, Biden did literally say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, which is one of the most racist things I've ever heard from a politician in a long time.
But he smiled when he said it.
Huh? I smile when I say a lot of hateful things.
Really? I didn't know you spewed a lot of hateful rhetoric.
That's because you don't listen to me on this show.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. But that's the interesting thing, because as Mo Fax said a few episodes back, if he had to pick as far as deciding, is he more black or is he more male when it comes to those two things in your life? And the same thing for anybody. It's like, well, do you look at your gender first or do you look at your race? And he said, I have to look at my gender. I mean, that's more important. I think most people would agree with that, except for the people race baiting, trying to cause problems between the races. I think most of the time, that's what a normal person would say. Like, I would associate first as a man. I would before I'd be like, but I'm a white guy.
I think as far as the leftist politicians, the Democrats are concerned, there's a lot of black male involved.
Yeah, maybe there's a lot of pictures.
So how do you feel about doing a tech story?
We do a lot of them here on Grumpy Old
I know, but we still take heat whenever we do things that aren't tech.
I know, big loaf.
And Biden is very not technological. His wetware was installed long before the computer age.
You think? He hasn't had an upgrade yet? Nobody's upgraded Biden's firmware? They've opened up his head. Why didn't they upgrade the firmware?
Yeah, really, seriously. Just flash a new patch on there somewhere.
I love it. We need it. The new and improved Biden.
The big story from this morning is, the big Ars Technica story that popped out, which is why I saw about 12 people talking about it, is that TikTok and WeChat are shutting down on Sunday.
Yeah.
You're familiar with this?
I am, because Cold Acid sent me that same link this morning.
Yeah. Oh, nobody sent it to me. I had to go find the article, but
well, they don't like you as much.
I get that. That checks. 45 days ago on the 6th of August, Donald Trump, president, by executive order, decided to legislate that the companies WeChat and TikTok are enemies of the United States and shall be shut down. And he gave the Department of Commerce 45 days to come up with a plan of how to shut these apps down without impacting American users who might benefit from them. And the Department of Commerce came up with nothing. So at this point, the plan is, since the 45-day deadline expires on Sunday, is to say, yep, those apps had better be turned off or we're going to start fining people, which means mainly Apple and Google are no longer allowed to distribute them in the App Store. Payment processors are no longer allowed to process any transactions via WeChat. This one is a little bit weird because it's so vague. ISPs and CDNs are banned from, quote, enabling the functioning or optimization of these apps. Read that really, really liberally. And what it means is that if your ISP allows any TikTok or WeChat packets across the network, then you could be fined by the Department of Commerce. I don't think that's even remotely enforceable, let alone the correct interpretation. But I'm not really sure what it means to be enabling or functioning or optimization of the apps. So ISPs and CDNs are encouraged to, in fact, by the Department of Commerce, they are encouraged to contact their lawyers to determine if this affects them.
Always contact your lawyer.
Yeah, well, wish that wasn't required. The world of laws that I'd like to be in is one where the laws are simple enough that any normal educated person can be expected to know what laws apply to them at any given time, and the profession of lawyer is not necessary. But of course, when you live in a world of bureaucrats where everybody demands to be told what to do 24/7, yeah, my utopia is not going to come to fruition, at least not with people.
Well, this whole story is interesting on a whole few different levels. One, yes. The fact that a president can sign an executive order which can pretty much take apps out of an app store is fantastic and scary all at the same time.
That's actually, from a constitutional policy perspective, that's fucking ridiculous. And I'm pretty sure Trump knows it, but at the same time, he got shot down by a court saying that Trump cannot rescind Obama's executive orders on Obamacare. And he went with that because why wouldn't you? You're like, yes. You've got a court now saying that executive orders have the same force as any law passed by Congress. Why wouldn't he? That's what Trump is doing now. Fuck Congress. Congress can go whine. They can go impeach him again for all he cares. He doesn't need them anymore. He is passing all this legislation, and I happen to agree with a number of the things he's doing, but goddamn, when it's not Trump doing the same thing, this is going to be infuriating. And I really hate the practice.
Well, he's learned from Barry. There's no doubt about it. He's learned from Barack Obama what can be done. And you have a certain amount of time before these things are expired, and there's nothing that can be done about it. But it's interesting when we're talking about companies and social media that are silencing the conservative voices. I mean, what's to stop Trump from picking up his pen and going, oh, Twitter's an enemy of the United States. Boom, gone. Can't run.
I mean, he didn't do that per se.
I know.
He has already picked up his pen and said, these companies, what he did by executive order was he instructed the was FCC, one of the two goddamn agencies. He instructed the federal agencies. I want to say the FCC or FTC, one of them, or both, maybe. Yeah, maybe. He instructed them to investigate whether or not Section 230 still applies to Twitter, to Facebook, because they are behaving like content publishers by carefully curating and censoring what information is available on their platform. And I think, especially going down, what we already talked about a few minutes ago, with Facebook very carefully censoring the anti-left stories, and Twitter doing the same thing, that I think, this is the Trump administration, so the deck might be stacked, but I'm feeling like there's going to be some Section 230 fallout from this, where these companies are not going to be covered by safe harbor anymore unless they radically change how they curate content on their published platform.
I would think they would have to, because I'm fine with any of these companies deciding that there is certain language maybe that you shouldn't have. If you want it to be children friendly, and I'm not somebody that thinks the internet should be child friendly. If you've been listening to this show or Random Thoughts,
I think children need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah. And I don't think the internet's a place that
some of them do
is for children. I don't think anybody under a certain age, whatever, you can argue with that may or may not be. But so many of these stories that come out, including the latest one, I saw you talking about it in the troll room earlier with the guy from Chicago that's on the Netflix cheer thing that was asking for naked photos of a 13-year-old boy, when he was 19 or 20. But this comes down again to parents. Don't give your fucking 13-year-old a phone. This is how you will take care of these problems. But I digress, because parents will just never learn.
Arguably, the idea that the internet is not for kids might have even worked 5 years ago, when it was still possible to have a life outside the house without having to go to the internet. But in 2020, when school boards are not willing to open up because the teachers are scared of a virus, then you can't really. There is the question is, okay, if the general internet, which I agree, it's not safe for kids, and there's no way to make it safe for kids and also allow freedom of speech.
Right.
And at this point, you've got the big social media companies who are accomplishing neither goal, because Facebook sure as hell isn't safe, and it's not a good place for free speech. But they're at least virtue signaling hard in that way. But where do the kids go if they can't go to the public internet? There isn't a kids internet.
Hey, there should be. There's an exit strategy.
That maybe. That might be what Facebook could become. Except, well, actually, no, because all the young people, even people under 25, don't go to Facebook anymore. It's really the middle-aged people now who are there mostly.
Yes, and then that's where your pedos will show up and be like, oh, no, I'm a 12-year-old boy, because you don't have any ID when you're that age. It's funny. You only get ID in the United States when you get a driver's license. So you're like 16 and up is when you start getting photo ID. Before then, nothing. Nobody can track anything. But I'm
generally okay with not having ID.
Yeah, I am. But it does lead to issues.
If I'm not driving, I don't take my ID with me.
Well, that's when you get pulled over and you have to put your hands on something. And then they're like, show me your ID. And you'll be like, I'm me.
Well, if I'm not driving, I'm a passenger, and the police are not actually legally allowed to require my ID.
Let me ask you this. Are you one of these guys that has because you're you're like a mathematic whiz. Do you have your driver's license number memorized?
Of course.
See, that is the difference. That is the difference.
Well, okay.